Chapter 2559. In an instant, Tang Ao's expression changed drastically. In an instant, a streak of golden thunder Dao runes flowed through their palms and into Tang Ao's body. At this moment, Tang Ao felt as if 10,000 insects were gnawing at his heart. He felt as if his bones were constantly being smashed and his meridians were being incessantly burned. So powerful. Tang Ao took a deep breath and said in a low voice. He had only guided a streak of golden thunder Dao runes into his body. It was already so painful. One could only imagine how much pain Wen Qingyu was in. This wasn't the first time Tang Ao had encountered a chaotic sky realm powerhouse. However, as Tang Ao's understanding of chaotic sky realm powerhouses deepened, Tang Ao realized how terrifying they were. As this streak of golden thunder Dao runes wreaked havoc in Tang Ao's body, Tang Ao's 9 dragons Emperor Jade body suddenly emitted a sacred, ancient, and gentle white light. This white light continuously gathered in Tang Ao's body and gradually formed a white flame above Tang Ao's spiritual sea in his dantian. This flame was like Tang Ao's flame of life. The Taoist rhymes of the golden thunder immediately howled and engulfed the wisp of flame after sensing the fluctuation of the flame. Tang Ao was caught off guard, and the flame was bitten by the golden thunder Dao runes. Just one bite caused Tang Ao's face to turn pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Tang Ao didn't dare to be careless and immediately calmed himself down. Tang Ao knew that this white flame wasn't the flame of life, but the Dao fire condensed by the 9 dragons Emperor Jade body. However, Tang Ao's cultivation level was too low, and his understanding of the heaven-earth law Dao runes was far inferior to Hua Chongjiu's. That was why Hua Chongjiu's metal thunder Taoist rhyme had succeeded in its sneak attack. At that moment, Tang Ao calmed his mind and began to control the flame with all his might. The metal thunder Taoist rhyme did not continue to attack the flame. Instead, it circled around it. When Tang Ao's mind was completely immersed in this wisp of flame, Tang Ao saw images. Many of the demonic beasts and immortal herbs in these images had been extinct for God knows how many years. As for the people in the images, Tang Ao did not recognize any of them. However, Tang Ao could clearly feel that any one of these people on the screen, like Hua Chongjiu, was just an ant in front of them. These people seemed to be talking to each other, but Tang Ao could not hear a single word. Although Tang Ao didn't know any of these people, Tang Ao saw something familiar. Tang Ao saw the primal chaos hexagram mirror. At that moment, the primal chaos hexagram mirror was hanging on the body of a man with an extraordinary aura. This man's aura was powerful, and just by standing there, he seemed like a ruler for life. The Dao runes around him were even more shocking. It was as though he could cause the sky and earth to crumble and the mountains and rivers to roll back with just a lift of his hand. Besides the primal chaos hexagram mirror, Tang Ao also saw the primordial sacred sky bow, the Tai Ching mystic mirror, the heaven-raising divine needle, and many other treasures that Tang Ao had not seen before. These treasures were either grade 9 immortal weapons or connate or postnatal divine weapons. It was not hard to imagine that the people in this image were the strongest of the strongest. At that moment, a wisp of white candle flame appeared in this space. After sensing this wisp of candle flame, an expert with a black face and blue eyes slammed his palm down mercilessly, as though he wanted to kill Tang Ao. Chapter 2560. The first image came to an abrupt end. Other than knowing that such a group of top-notch experts had once existed in this world, Tang Ao did not know anything else. At the same time, Tang Ao did not understand why such an image would appear in the candle flame of the 9 dragons Emperor Jade body. However, Tang Ao was still very satisfied that he had refined a trace of golden thunder Dao runes from this image. There were many more such images in the candle flame. However, given Tang Ao's cultivation level, it was not easy for him to open these image fragments. With a thought, Tang Ao drew out a few more golden thunder Taoist rhymes from Wenqingyu's body. Under Tang Ao's control, these golden thunder Taoist rhymes directly collided with the candle flame. Before they could devour Tang Ao's candle flame, Tang Ao had already guided these golden thunder Tao runes into the image fragments. Tang Ao saw another image. This image was not connected to the previous one. The space this image was in was very special. In fact, Tang Ao felt that there was no concept of space and time in this place. Everything was forbidden. Only these godly king realm experts seemed to be fighting for something. It was exactly as Tang Ao had imagined. After the golden thunder Tao runes were guided into the image fragments by Tang Ao, they could not withstand a single blow from the Tao runes of the godly king realm experts. The more it was like this, the more Tang Ao wanted to know what these godly king realm experts were fighting for. Tang Ao could roughly deduce that the man wearing the chaotic hexagram mirror was the first owner of the chaotic hexagram mirror, the chaotic godly king. Tang Ao could not figure out what such a person was fighting for with the other experts in this place. However, this second image was extremely short. Even with Tang Ao's strength, he could not see clearly what was happening. What Tang Ao saw was a powerful magical technique that could destroy heaven and earth. Fortunately, the place where they were fighting had neither the sky nor the earth. Tang Ao had never heard of a place like this. That place was very similar to the void between the martial world and the martial world. However, there was space in the void as well. However, Tang Ao couldn't sense the fluctuation of space there, nor could he sense the flow of time. A treasure that could exist in such a place would definitely be extraordinary. Given Tang Ao's cultivation base, opening a fragment like this was already his limit. However, because there were so many metal lightning Taoist runes, Tang Ao was able to take advantage of this opportunity to see what was inside the fragment. When Tang Ao tried to draw out the Taoist rhyme of metal lightning from Wenqingyu's body once again, Tang Ao spat out another mouthful of blood. Even though the metal lightning Taoist rhyme was directed by Tang Ao to attack the fragment in the white candle flame, the metal lightning Taoist rhyme would still flow into Tang Ao's body. Even though Tang Ao's great desolate indestructible body had reached the Yuan body level, he still couldn't take it. Even so, Tang Ao could only grit his teeth and persevere. Even if Tang Ao did not want to see these fragments, Tang Ao had to save Wenqingyu. As the metal lightning Taoist rhyme surged in, the fragment continued to be blasted away by the metal lightning Taoist rhyme. This time, Tang Ao finally saw what these experts were fighting for. It was a fruit that shone with a 9-colored radiance. Chapter 2561. One of the godly monarchs wearing a red lotus robe glanced at the eternal Tao fruit with some regret. With a wave of his hand, a spatial rift appeared in front of him. This godly monarch chose to leave right away. This was because his injuries were not light. Although he was still alive, he clearly could not obtain the eternal Tao fruit if he continued to stay here. This godly monarch had some ties with Tang Ao. This was because this godly monarch's Dharma artifact was the Khanate Chaos Cauldron that Tang Ao rarely used. After this godly monarch left, the rest of the godly monarchs made their moves to snatch the eternal Tao fruit that shone with 9-colored divine light. Under everyone's powerful sorcery, the eternal Tao fruit finally shattered. Tang Ao saw 9 thick divine lights, 36 divine lights of different sizes, and countless tiny divine lights fly out. Following that, Tang Ao saw a scene that shocked him speechless. This was because the 36 divine lights were ignored by the godly monarch powerhouses. As they intertwined with each other, they actually turned into the 36 levels of the boundless universe. Tang Ao had never imagined that the 36 levels of the life soul would actually come about like this. Following that, Tang Ao saw a tiny stream of light transform and quickly turn into a Khanate fire origin aura. There were more than 10 million such tiny streams of light in this place. Tang Ao did not continue looking at these tiny streams of light. Instead, he looked at the 9 most dazzling divine lights. After looking for a long time, Tang Ao finally knew what this was. This was the 9 Heaven Tao laws of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, ice, and darkness. Tang Ao also finally understood why there were fragments of these scenes in the white candle flame. This was because this white candle flame was the Fire Tao law. At this thought, Tang Ao's entire body trembled. In the scene, the Fire Tao law was subdued by a godly monarch powerhouse. This godly monarch powerhouse was surrounded by a netherworld aura. Needless to say, Tang Ao also knew that this godly monarch definitely had a relationship with him. However, before Tang Ao could see more, the scene disappeared again. Although the scene disappeared, Tang Ao's heart could not calm down for a long time. His body actually possessed one of the 9 great Tao laws of heaven and earth, the Tao law of fire. However, Tang Ao didn't know what had happened to the Fire Tao law. Even the puny metal lightning Tao law dared to bite the Fire Tao law. Tang Ao also tried to communicate with or control the candle flame, but the results were minimal. Tang Ao realized that although he could communicate with his candle flame, he couldn't use the Fire Tao law to do anything. However, Tang Ao seemed to have absorbed enough Taoist rhymes of the golden lightning, and some strange runes appeared in his mind. These runes were so profound that Tang Ao couldn't understand what they were. After calming his mind, Tang Ao continued to guide the metal lightning Taoist rhyme in Wen Qingyu's body. However, this time, Tang Ao could not see anything in the candlelight. There were still many image fragments in the candlelight, but Tang Ao couldn't open them no matter what. 3 days later, the aura on Tang Ao's body was extremely chaotic. After extracting the last trace of metal lightning Taoist rhyme from Wen Qingyu's body, Tang Ao spat out a mouthful of blood. Then he blacked out. For the past 3 days, Tang Ao had been repeating the same thing, extracting the metal lightning Taoist rhyme from Wen Qingyu's body and refining it with the candlelight. He wanted to see if he could open the image fragments and see something else. However, to Tang Ao's disappointment, after completely extracting the metal lightning Taoist rhyme from Wen Qingyu's body, Tang Ao could not see anything. Chapter 2562. No! Wen Qingyu cried out in alarm, and then she suddenly sat up. Then, she discovered that the corrosive gold thunder Taoist rhyme in her body had disappeared. She soon realized that something was wrong. Her hand was actually holding onto Tang Ao's hand, and there was a flickering formation around them. This is... Wen Qingyu closed her eyes and sensed something. After a while, she opened her eyes, which were filled with disbelief. At this moment, she already understood what had happened. But it was precisely because she knew what had happened that she could not believe it. Since she started cultivating, she had experienced lies, betrayals, and schemes. She had been disappointed time and time again, to the point of numbness. But this time, Tang Ao had actually saved her. Although she did not know what secrets Tang Ao's body had, she knew that no matter how special Tang Ao's body was, Tang Ao was only at the 4th level of the astral reaching realm. Taking on Hua, Chongjio's gold thunder Taoist rhyme would still be a narrow escape. She wondered if good people really had good karma. Tang Ao had saved her. Although his Yuan Qi had been greatly damaged, Tang Ao's life was not in danger. After taking another deep look at Tang Ao, Wen Qingyu took off a jade pendant from her neck and put it in Tang Ao's hand. This jade pendant was a supreme treasure. At the same time, through this jade pendant, Tang Ao could also find Wen Qingyu. Although Wen Qingyu also wanted to thank Tang Ao in person, she could not wait for Tang Ao to wake up right now. She had more important things to do. Hua Chongjio's gold thunder Taoist rhyme had injured her, and her ice Taoist rhyme had also frozen half of Hua Chongjio's spiritual sea. Moreover, Wen Qingyu saw that Hua Chongjio had been severely injured by a demonic creature when he was escaping. Right now, Hua Chongjio must have suffered even more injuries. Although Hua Chongjio had finally clenched his teeth and rushed out of the desolate martial realm, Wen Qingyu was sure that Hua Chongjio must be hiding somewhere nearby to heal. Given Hua Chongjio's current state, it was impossible for him to return to the Grand Heaven Realm. Hua Chongjio's injuries were so severe that even an ordinary chaotic heaven stage powerhouse could kill him. This was the best time to kill Hua Chongjio. If Hua Chongjio missed this opportunity, he would have to kill Tang Ao and Wen Xingyu after he refined the Frost Dao fruit and became a Dao master or even a divine king. When Hua Chongjio was in the celestial chaos realm, countless creatures had suffered. If Hua Chongjio cultivated to the Dao master realm or even the divine king realm, no one knew what would happen. Wen Xingyu waved her long sleeves and a spatial crack appeared in front of her. After taking a deep look at Tang Ao, Wen Xingyu's figure flashed and she stepped into the void crack. Ever since Wen Xingyu started cultivating, countless geniuses had fallen for her due to her unparalleled talent and peerless beauty. However, Wen Xingyu was disdainful because she could see what these people were thinking. But when it came to Tang Ao, Wen Xingyu found that no matter how she looked at him, he was just a cloud of fog or a ray of light. She could feel the long-lost warmth, but she could not see through Tang Ao. Chapter 2563. Just as Tang Ao was about to put the jade pendant away, Tang Ao suddenly felt a familiar fluctuation from the jade pendant. However, no matter what, Tang Ao could not imagine where he had felt this kind of fluctuation before. Confused, Tang Ao probed the jade pendant with his soul remembrance. However, Tang Ao didn't expect that this jade pendant couldn't be probed with soul remembrance. Tang Ao immediately activated his heavenly polar pupils. However, under Tang Ao's heavenly polar pupils, he could only see a cloud of fog. He didn't know what this jade pendant was. After pondering for a moment, Tang Ao put the jade pendant away properly. Although he didn't know what this jade pendant was, Tang Ao could faintly feel Wen Xingyu's soul remembrance fluctuation from this jade pendant. Tang Ao knew that with this jade pendant, he might be able to find Wen Xingyu. Although Tang Ao had awakened, Tang Ao's soul remembrance and immortal spiritual power were still empty. Tang Ao took out 2 recovery pills and consumed them. He started to recover his immortal spiritual power. While Tang Ao was recovering his immortal spiritual power, outside the city of beasts, a luxuriously decorated flying spirit boat flew through the sky. Standing in front of the flying spirit boat was Huang Tianxing, who had been here twice before. However, there was another person in front of Huang Tianxing. This person looked similar to Huang Tianxing, but his aura was much stronger than Huang Tianxing's. This person had a strand of silver hair hanging down from the left side of his forehead. There was a short blade at his waist. He wore a silver robe and looked extraordinary. He was Huang Tianxing's second brother, Huang Yuechen. There were 2 other people beside Huang Yuechen. One of them Tang Ao had seen before. It was Wei Chu, who had come to the city of beasts previously. The other person looked similar to the escaped Yang Feng, but his aura was much stronger than Yang Feng's. This person was one of the top 10 experts of the Heaven Star City, Yang Tiansheng. The reason Yang Feng didn't come this time wasn't because Yang Feng was afraid of Huang Tianxing's punishment when he fled, but because Yang Feng couldn't come. After Yang Feng escaped, Huang Tianxing had sent martial artists to search for him. Huang Tianxing's men had also found Yang Feng. However, when Huang Tianxing found Yang Feng, it was a cold corpse. The fatal wound on Yang Feng's body was a sword wound. A sword had slit his throat. Tang Ao was the only one in the vicinity who was able to do this. Although he didn't know what happened to Yang Feng, Yang Feng's death had made Tang Ao suspicious. Is this the place? Yang Tianxing's tone was calm, without any emotion. Brother Yang, this is the city of beasts. Among all the martial artists here who use swords, only Tang Ao from the city of beasts had the power to kill Brother Yang Feng. Brother Yang Feng had fought with Tang Ao twice and lost both times. Huang Tianxing could order Yang Feng around like a slave, but when it came to Yang Tiansheng, Yang Feng didn't dare to show any disrespect. Yang Feng was only a normal astral reaching stage 9 expert, but Yang Tiansheng was one of the top 10 experts of the Heaven Star City. Even if he was the 3rd child of the Heaven Star City, he couldn't be too presumptuous. That Tang Ao is an Yin-Yang realm warrior? Hearing that Yang Feng had lost to Tang Ao, Yang Tiansheng said calmly, Tang Ao is only an astral reaching stage 4 warrior. Even after all this time, he would not be able to reach astral reaching stage 5. Huang Tianxing didn't say anything, but Lu Kuan-Yang did. Chapter 2564. If one were to say that Yang Feng had fought against Tang Ao with such a huge disparity in cultivation base, and Yang Feng had lost 2 battles, then would it mean that Tang Ao was a peerless martial genius, and Yang Feng was trash? Yang Feng was Yang Tianxing's younger brother. Yang Feng had a lot of problems, but he had trained quite hard, adding on his martial talent. It wouldn't be long before he broke through to the yin-yang realm. Such a martial artist had actually lost to a 4th-level astral-reaching realm martial artist. If it wasn't because Tang Ao was too monstrous, then it would mean that Yang Feng was a pig. Yang Tiansheng didn't think that Yang Feng was a pig, nor did he think that Tang Ao could be that monstrous. Therefore, Yang Tiansheng had a vague feeling that Yang Feng's death was not that simple. Sister Ling, there seems to be a few flying spirit boats coming over. On the city wall, Huang Qir looked at the 3 mighty flying spirit boats in the distance and said to Ling Shuao, who was beside her. After seeing the 3 flying spirit boats, Ling Shuyao's expression changed. Although Ling Shuya knew that Huang Tianxing would definitely call for more experts from Stellar Sky City to cause trouble, Ling Shuya didn't expect the martial artists from Stellar Sky City to arrive so quickly. This time, Ling Shuya didn't hesitate and activated the 5th rank Immortal Array of the City of Beasts. The City of Beasts' array was left by the founder of the City of Beasts. The founder of the 100 Beast City had left behind a total of 3 arrays. The first one was a Grade 5 Immortal Array surrounding the city. However, one could use array flags to switch between Grade 1 Immortal Arrays to Grade 5 Immortal Arrays. The second array was the 7th rank Killing Array that Tang Ao had seen before. It was indeed a 7th rank Killing Array, but it could only be used once, which meant that it could only kill 1 person. The last formation was called the Beast Taming Formation. Ling Shuya had never activated this array before, because when the old city lord of the City of Beasts gave the array flag to Ling Shuya, he said that she could not activate this beast taming array unless the City of Beasts was about to be destroyed. Ling Shuya had always kept these words in mind. Therefore, even though Ling Shuya was constantly studying these 3 arrays, Ling Shuya had never touched the beast taming array's array flag. Luo Shi sat on a city wall, wiping his huge axe. Suddenly, a blinding flash of lightning streaked across the sky and struck the defensive array of the City of Beasts. Luo 11 looked up and saw Huang Yuechun and the others. The one who attacked the defense array was Yang Tiansheng, who was at Yin-Yang Realm Stage 5. When Yang Tiansheng released his Yin-Yang Realm Stage 5 cultivation, many people in the City of Beasts fell into despair when they felt Yang Tianxing's terrifying aura. They could have left this place safely if they had held on for a few more days. However, Huang Tianxing from Sky Star City had come looking for them again. Moreover, he was accompanied by an Yin-Yang realm expert from Sky Star City. Even Song Qiufeng's expression changed when he felt Yang Tianxing's terrifying aura. Song Qiufeng naturally recognized Yang Tiansheng from aloft. Song Qiufeng didn't understand. Even if the 1,000 merchants building gave up on him, they would never give up on the 100 scarlet gold immortal artifacts. However, why was Yang Tiansheng from Sky Star City here, but the experts from 1,000 merchants building were nowhere to be seen? Did they really not want the scarlet gold immortal artifacts in their hands? Chapter 2565. Therefore, the experts from the 1,000 Merchant House were already on their way. However, the 1,000 Merchant House was too far away from here. The second batch of experts from the Sky Star City had arrived, but the experts from the 1,000 Merchant House were still on their way. I'm here today to look for 2 people. One is Tang Ao, and the other is Song Qiufeng. This has nothing to do with the rest of you. Please don't interfere. Outside the City of Beasts' defense array, Huang Yuechen spoke in a clear voice. Huang Yuechen's voice wasn't loud, but as he circulated his immortal spiritual force, his voice also spread to the surroundings, ringing in the ears of every martial artist in the City of Beasts. Hearing Huang Yuechen's words, everyone had different expressions. Although Tang Ao had contributed a lot to the City of Beasts, this was clearly the biggest calamity for the City of Beasts. After getting past Huang Yuechen, they just needed to wait for a few days for the Blood Clan's blood source array to weaken. Then, everyone would be able to leave this place safely. Therefore, at this moment, many people actually looked at the house where Tang Ao was, as if hoping that Tang Ao would take the initiative to step forward. The City of Beasts has many array flags refined by Senior Brother Tang Ao, many elixirs, immortal equipment, and everyone's hard work. That's why the City of Beasts is able to hold on this time. These people destroyed the City of Beasts' defense array for no reason. We will definitely not compromise with them. Ling Shuiyao looked angrily at Huang Tianxing's group. Ling Shuiyao didn't understand. The people in the City of Beasts didn't have any grudges with these people, but these people kept coming to the City of Beasts to cause trouble. Miss Ling is right. One has to cultivate for a lifetime to have a clear conscience. If I back off today, I will definitely feel guilty in the future. The one who spoke was a skinny young man in white robes. This young man had a wine gourd hanging on his waist. He seemed to be an alcoholic. However, not many people in the City of Beasts thought that this young man was an alcoholic. This young man was the second strongest on the City of Beasts' blood demon list by Yinhua. Although Bai Yinhua was ranked below Senior Black, no one could be sure who was stronger. Even the two of them weren't sure. During this period of time, Senior Black had killed 21 blood demons, while Bai Yinhua had killed 20. From this number, it could be seen that the two of them should be equally matched in strength. After Bai Yinhua said that, he looked at Luo Shi, who was sitting on the city wall and wiping his giant axe. Senior Black and Luo Shi had fought before. At the same cultivation level, Senior Black could only withstand 9 moves from Luo Shi before being defeated. Bai Yinhua had always wanted to compete with Luo Shi, but in order to surpass Black Lai, he had been searching for blood demons nearby. It was a pity that the blood demons around the City of Beasts seemed to have been annihilated. No matter how hard Bai Yinhua searched, he could not find them. After Bai Yinhua, many other martial artists spoke up. In 100 B City, although there were quite a number of people who wanted to retreat, but at the same time, there were also many martial artists who remembered Tang Ao's kindness. During his time in the City of Beasts, Tang Ao had never rejected any of the martial artists who came to ask for pills. The number of martialists who had received Tang Ao's kindness was not small. Second brother, they are just a bunch of barbarians. Why bother talking nonsense with them? Let's just break the array formation and kill our way in. Huang Tianxing was furious when he heard the shouting of the martialists in the City of Beasts. Huang Tianxing's original intention was to kill all the martialists who had attacked him previously. However, his second brother had said that Tang Ao and Song Qiufeng were the main culprits and that there was no need to care about the rest. Too many killings would easily incur the wrath of the masses. Chapter 2566. Shut up. Huang Yuechen interrupted Huang Tianxing coldly. Huang Tianxing was his younger brother, but Huang Yuechen and Huang Tianxing only shared the same father but different mothers. If his biological brother, Huang Haoyang, had been here, he might have followed him. However, Huang Yuechen was here, so he couldn't allow Huang Tianxing to act recklessly. If Yang Tianxing's younger brother hadn't died here, Huang Yuechen wouldn't have wanted to get involved in this mess. However, he had to come to appease Yang Tianxing. Yang Tianxing was Huang Yuechen's right-hand man, an extremely useful chess piece for Huang Yuechen. Huang Yuechen would naturally try to win over such a person. Everyone, I will repeat myself. Today's matter has nothing to do with any of you. My Skystar City's Yang Feng died a violent death. I just want to ask Tang Ao and Song Qiufeng about the situation. Huang Yuechen had come for Yang Tianxing, not to ruin his reputation. The Five Elements Wasteland was under the control of Skystar City. If he won the battle with Huang Haoyang in the future, This place would be his territory. However, Huang Yuechen had considered everything, but he had neglected Yang Tianqing's arrogance. After hearing everyone's words, Yang Tianqing's golden lightning spear struck the city of Beast's defense array without any hesitation. Although the city of Beast's defense array had already been upgraded to a grade 5 immortal array, it still trembled under Yang Tianqing's attack. Before Huang Yuechen could dissuade him, Yang Tianqing's spear had already struck out a second time. Huang Tianqing didn't dare say much to Yang Tiansheng, but Wei Chu was Huang Tianqing's subordinate. After Yang Tianqing's 2 strikes, the defense array was already full of cracks. Suddenly, Wei Chu struck out with his spear once again. This immediately became the straw that broke the mule's back. A loud "Kacha" sound was heard. This time, the 100 Beast City's defensive array formation was shattered by brute force. Although everyone in the City of Beasts was furious, no one dared to make a sound in the face of Yang Tianqing's menacing aura. Senior brother Yang, those two know where Tang Ao is. Wei Chu immediately pointed at Huang Qi and Ling Shuiyao as he spoke to Yang Tiansheng. Yang Tianqing's face turned cold, and he suddenly extended the spear in his hand. A golden spear radiance flew out and blasted towards Ling Shuiyao and Huang Qi. However, before Yang Tianqing's spear radiance could reach Ling Shuiyao and Jian Xiaotian, a figure suddenly flew up. It was Luo Shi. Although Yang Tiansheng was already at the Yin-Yang realm level 5 and Luo Shi was only at the Yin-Yang realm level 3, Luo Shi wasn't afraid at all. After Luo Shi casually dispersed the spear radiance with his axe, Yang Tiansheng looked at Luo Shi and said coldly, "Who do you think you are? How dare you block me?" As soon as he finished speaking, he turned his spear and attacked Luo Shi. The highest limit to enter the Heaven Dao Mystic Realm was the Yin-Yang Realm Level 3. Because of this, Luo Shi had to suppress his cultivation at the Yin-Yang Realm Level 3 and not break through. If Luo Shi wanted to break through, he wouldn't dare to say that he would be at the Celestial Turbid Realm, but he would at least be at the Advanced Yin-Yang Realm. This Yang Tiansheng might be able to flaunt his might in the Sky Star City, but he was far from it in front of Luo Shi. Luo Shi's immortal spiritual energy exploded, and a powerful aura spread out. The Heaven Fault axe in his hand whistled through the air and cleaved downwards. Yang Tiansheng actually had a feeling that he couldn't block it. Yang Tiansheng couldn't imagine how this small city of beasts could have a powerful martial artist like Yang Tiansheng. Huang Yuechen didn't want to fight in the first place, but now that he saw a powerful martial artist like Luo Shi in the City of Beasts, he cursed Yang Tiansheng even more. Dang! With only one attack, Luo Shi's Heaven Fault axe smashed Yang Tiansheng down from the sky. Although Wei Chu knew that he wasn't Luo Shi's opponent, he still made his move immediately, blocking Luo Shi from chasing after Yang Tiansheng. Yang Tiansheng took this opportunity to come back to his senses. The spear in his hand shook, and he attacked towards Luo Shi again. In the distance, Huang Tianqing waved his hand, and the rest of the astral-reaching Realm Level 9 and Yin-Yang Realm martial artists appeared as well. Within a blink of an eye, Luo Shi was surrounded by more than 10 martial artists. "Senior brother Luo, let me help you." Right then, Tang Ao's voice was heard. At the same time, 3 golden profound sky arrows whistled through the air. Besides a Yin-Yang Realm Level 1 martial artist who barely managed to dodge them, Tang Ao's 3 arrows had killed 2 astral-reaching Realm Level 9 martial artists instantly. Chapter 2567. Suddenly, terrifying sorcery techniques exploded in the sky above the City of Beasts. In the middle of the battle, Luo Shi's body flickered with cold light. No matter how one looked at it, Luo Shi's giant axe was a clumsy, blunt weapon. Although the giant axe had a blade, the blade was as wide as a pinky finger. When it smashed into someone, it was like being hit by a hammer. In Luo Shi's hands, such a clumsy, blunt weapon could be used freely without any loss of dexterity. The martial artists in Sky Star City seemed to like using spears as their weapons. Whether it was Yang Feng, who was fighting with Tang Ao, Wei Chu, or Yang Tiansheng, who was fighting with Luo Shi, they all used spears as their weapons. The martial artists in Sky Star City cultivated very similar techniques. Tang Ao could vaguely tell that there were three very similar thunder attribute techniques. Huang Yueqin and Huang Tianxing cultivated one. Yang Tiansheng and Wei Chu cultivated another, and Yang Feng cultivated another. The power of these three techniques decreased accordingly. It was obvious that Sky Star City was an organization with a strict hierarchy. After Tang Ao released another strike with the primordial sacred sky bow, Wei Chu had already appeared not far away from Tang Ao. Tang Ao's arrow didn't shoot at Wei Chu. Under such a hurried attack, and the fact that Wei Chu was on full alert, the arrow wouldn't have any effect on Wei Chu. Unless Tang Ao and Wei Chu had the same cultivation. If Tang Ao was also at the first stage of the yin-yang realm, Wei Chu would be a dead man as long as Tang Ao took out the primordial sacred sky bow. Chi, a bolt of lightning struck, and Tang Ao retreated rapidly. After Tang Ao retreated, the place where Tang Ao had been standing was immediately bombarded with stone fragments. The surrounding martial artists from the City of Beasts couldn't dodge in time and were killed on the spot by the wandering lightning snakes. A yin-yang realm level 1 martial artist attack was so terrifying. Golden runes emerged from Tang Ao's body in an instant. These golden runes shone with a sacred and mysterious light as they slowly merged with Tang Ao's body. Tang Ao's body seemed to let out a deafening roar. Wei Chu then saw that Tang Ao seemed to have activated his golden body. Golden light radiated from his body, making him look indestructible. After using the Vajra incarnation, Tang Ao's body was filled with an explosive power. After Tang Ao's great desolate immortal body had been cultivated to the Yuan body level, Tang Ao's physique was no longer weaker than an yin-yang realm martial artist. After Tang Ao used the Vajra embodiment, Tang Ao's physical strength was comparable to that of a peak yin-yang realm martial artist. With such a physique, it would be very difficult to break through Tang Ao's defense if he was facing an astral-reaching realm martial artist attack without a very powerful spell or a very powerful immortal weapon. After Tang Ao used the Vajra embodiment, the long spear in Wei Chu's hand also surged with golden lightning. After a while, the long spear in Wei Chu's hand could no longer be seen. At this moment, it was like a golden lightning in Wei Chu's hand. Stop struggling. Hand over the primordial sacred heaven bow, and I will spare your life. Wei Chu did not attack immediately. Instead, he began to persuade Tang Ao. Wei Chu naturally knew Tang Ao's identity. Although Tang Ao was from the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce, Wei Chu did not have any scruples. Although the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce had Chaotic Heaven Realm martial artists, in the Desolate Martial Realm, Chaotic Heaven Realm martial artists were useless. Chapter 2568. However, if he could avoid fighting, Wei Chu really did not want to fight with Tang Ao. Naturally, Wei Chu was not afraid of the 4th level astral reaching realm Tang Ao. What he was afraid of were the warriors of the City of Beasts who did not join the battle with Yang Tiansheng. During this period of time, the City of Beasts had taken in more than 100,000 warriors. Although there were no yin-yang realm warriors among them, there were quite a lot of astral reaching realm warriors at the 8th and 9th level. During this period of time, everyone had been fighting side by side in the City of Beasts, and they had already become life and death friends. If he were to attack Tang Ao at the same time, and all of these warriors swarmed him, no matter how powerful he was, he would not be able to handle it. Moreover, every time he entered the City of Beasts, Wei Chu would have a feeling of palpitation. It was as if there was something horrifying in the City of Beasts that could kill him with one attack. This feeling of extreme danger, Wei Chu did not think that he was wrong. Since he had this feeling, then the City of Beasts must have some kind of extremely powerful means. However, for some reason, Wei Chu had never seen the warriors of the City of Beasts use this kind of means. What made Wei Chu's heart palpitate was naturally the rank 7 killing array hidden in the City of Beasts. If they were careless, even chaotic Sky Realm warriors would have a hard time killing them. Killing an Yin-Yang Realm warrior would be a piece of cake. Unfortunately, the rank 7 killing array in the City of Beasts could not be used limitlessly. After using it once, it would need to recover for a year or even longer before it could be used again. Therefore, unless it was absolutely necessary, Ling Shuiyao would not easily use the rank 7 killing array. Finger of Destruction. After performing the King Kong transformation, Tang Ao did not waste any time and immediately attacked. Tang Ao's first attack was a killing attack. 2 beams of light condensed into a huge finger, directly falling towards Wei Chu. The long spear in Wei Chu's hand violently swept out, clashing with the 2 huge, shining fingers. A terrifying shockwave spread out. Wei Chu took half a step back, while Tang Ao felt a powerful rebounding force. In the next instant, Tang Ao's figure was sent flying. The gap between the first Yin-Yang realm and the 4th astral-reaching realm was obvious at this moment. However, because Tang Ao's great desolate immortal body had been cultivated to the Yuan body level, Tang Ao was not injured. If it were an ordinary astral-reaching expert, even if they were not killed by the powerful immortal spiritual power, their internal organs would have been shaken by Wei Chu's attack. After sending Tang Ao flying, an ice phoenix appeared behind Wei Chu without waiting for him to follow up with another attack. Then, an ice storm blasted toward Wei Chu. Such an attack wasn't very dangerous to Wei Chu, but he didn't dare to be careless. Wei Chu turned around and shattered the ice storm. Another thunderball rumbled over. Seeing the thunderball spat out by the gold thunderhound, Wei Chu sneered inwardly. He ignored it and let the thunderball hit him. After the violent thunderball landed on Wei Chu's body, waves of electric light swam around. The thunderbolts were absorbed by Wei Chu directly. A hint of greed appeared in Wei Chu's eyes as he looked at the golden lightning ball. Chapter 2569. Seeing the Dark Soul Demon's Scythe, Wei Chu froze for a second, then sneered and continued to grab at it. However, the moment Wei Chu grabbed the scythe, his expression changed. The soul remembrance on his arm had been sucked dry by the Dark Soul Demon's Scythe. Even his soul felt like it was going to be devoured by the Dark Soul Demon's Scythe. Wei Chu hurried to throw out a palm attack, and at the same time, the golden spear in his hand landed heavily on the Dark Soul Demon's scythe. Crack! The Dark Soul Demon scythe shattered, turning into a cloud of black fog and slowly disappearing. Although the Dark Soul Demon scythe was strange, Huang Qir's cultivation was too low, and the Dark Soul Demon scythe was not condensed enough. Therefore, Wei Chu's attack had shattered the Dark Soul Demon scythe. Boom! Right then, 2 beams of light, one blue and one green, shot down from the sky. They looked like 2 huge pillars that supported the sky, pressing down on Wei Chu. The ancient blue spirit and the ancient green spirit also appeared behind Huang Qir. Huang Qir could control demonic beasts and demonic creatures. Although her cultivation was not high, and her battle power was not strong, her power was unquestionable. Ice Phoenix, Gold Thunderhound, Dark Soul Demon Scythe, and the Ancient 2 Spirits. Once these demonic beasts and demonic creatures appeared, normal astral-reaching realm warriors would not be able to handle them at all. Not only that, according to the identity tag in the Immortal Ruin Chamber of Commerce, Huang Qir could also control a peak level 9 astral-reaching realm beast. This beast was something that even Tang Ao had not seen before. Boom! Boom! A wave of dust rose up, and the violent spirit power spread out. Everyone nervously sent their soul remembrance into the smoke. Everyone wanted to know if Huang Qir's dazzling attack had killed Wei Chu. Roar! Right then, a loud roar was heard from within the dust. Golden lightning flashed on Wei Chu's body, as if he had turned into a thunder god. Right then, Wei Chu was in a sorry state. His body was torn, and there were even traces of blood on it. In the distance, Tang Ao scanned through with his sky extreme eyes and sighed inwardly. There was indeed a huge gap between the yin-yang realm and the astral-reaching realm. Faced with Huang Qir's attacks, Tang Ao felt that even in his previous life, he would have been defeated by Huang Qir. Although Tang Ao had not reached the yin-yang realm in his previous life, he was still at the peak of astral-reaching realm level 9. However, after Huang Qir controlled the demonic beasts and demonic creatures to attack Wei Chu was actually not injured. At this moment, although Wei Chu looked to be in a sorry state, that was all. In reality, Wei Chu was not injured at all. Diant. Although Wei Chu wasn't injured, Huang Qir's barrage of attacks had left Wei Chu feeling extremely sullen. 2 golden spears floated behind Wei Chu. With a wave of his hand, the 2 golden spears shot out. Puff! Puff! The Ice Phoenix's wings were pierced by Wei Chu's 2 golden spears and nailed to the void. Lil Bing. Huang Qir was furious. In an instant, half the sky above the city of beasts turned dark. A huge figure descended from the sky, a huge claw attacking directly at Wei Chu. It was indeed the dragon turtle with a dragon head and a turtle body. Although the dragon turtle's power was horrifying, its movements were a bit clumsy. When the dragon turtle's claw attacked, Wei Chu's body instantly dodged. Chapter 2570. Without the protection of a defense array, the Blood Clan members and blood slaves around the City of Beasts immediately swarmed in and instantly drowned the City of Beasts. Huang Qir covered her mouth with her hands, her eyes filled with self-blame. However, Tang Ao appeared beside Huang Qir. Junior Sister Qir, it's not your fault. Even if you didn't make a move, this fellow would have broken the array. Tang Ao knew that LV Kunyang's array Dao attainment was not inferior to his own when he saw the few array flags that LV Kunyang threw out instantly condensed into an explosive flame array. Hence, Tang Ao knew that as long as LV Kunyang was willing, he could completely break this unmanned array. Previously, when Huang Yueqin and his group killed their way into the City of Beasts, many martial artists were indifferent. However, now that the City of Beasts' defense array was broken, these people immediately regretted it. As long as they stayed in the defense array for another 7 days, the Blood Clan's blood source array would weaken and everyone would go their separate ways. However, now that the City of Beasts' defense array was broken, they had no place to hide. At this moment, many people were filled with regret. If they hadn't chosen to stand by and watch when Huang Yueqin and his group had charged in, they would have attacked at lightning speed instead. No matter how strong Huang Yueqin and his group were, they wouldn't have been able to fend off so many cultivators. However, it was too late to say anything now. After the Blood Clan and blood slaves charged in, the already chaotic City of Beasts became even more chaotic. For a moment, there were endless screams in the City of Beasts. Many Blood Clan and blood slaves were killing mercilessly in the City of Beasts. Countless martial artists died tragically. The strange blood demon was even stranger in this chaotic City of Beasts. In a corner of the city wall, a woman bit the neck of a male martial artist beside her and revealed her ferocious sharp teeth. Unlike blood slaves and Blood Clan martial artists, the blood demon could perfectly conceal its aura and blend in with the crowd. After this blood demon sucked the male martial artist's blood dry, its figure turned into a bloody light and disappeared. When human martial artists cultivated, they started by absorbing spiritual energy. After reaching a high-level plane, they could absorb immortal spiritual energy to cultivate. Just like humans, the Blood Clan could also absorb immortal spiritual energy to cultivate. However, the Blood Clan had an even faster cultivation method, which was to directly absorb the blood of a martial artist. The blood of a martial artist contained a vast amount of immortal spiritual energy. When the Blood Clan martial artist absorbed blood, the spiritual energy essence in the spirit sea would also be sucked dry. Absorbing the blood of a martial artist of the same level was equivalent to a year of cultivation for the Blood Clan martial artist. It was also because of this that there were so many Blood Clan members and blood slaves around the 100B city, refusing to leave even after such a long time. On Tang Ao's side, Even if Tang Ao and Huang Qir joined hands, they were still suppressed by Wei Chu. With Wei Chu's yin-yang first-level cultivation, he could do whatever he wanted in the 100B city. If it was before, Tang Ao could exhaust all his immortal spiritual energy and use the primordial beginning sacred heaven bow to kill Wei Chu. Tang Ao didn't believe that Wei Chu would have a second ancient heavenly star bell. However, the situation in the City of Beasts was very complicated. Tang Ao didn't dare to waste his spiritual energy. Senior brother Tang Ao, why don't I summon Cain and destroy him? Huang Qir looked at Wei Chu from afar and sent a voice transmission to Tang Ao. Tang Ao shook his head after Huang Qir said that. Cain was Huang Qir's biggest trump card. However, there was no need to summon Cain to deal with a level 1 yin-yang realm martial artist like Wei Chu. Huang Qir still had 300 Dark Essence Stones. These 300 Dark Essence Stones could summon Cain one more time. Chapter 2571. Brother Tang Ao, let me help you. Just as Tang Ao and Huang Qir joined forces to fight Wei Chu, Song Qiufeng's voice was heard. It turned out that Luo Shi was too powerful. He was fighting Yang Tiansheng and Huang Yuechen alone. So Song Qiufeng brought a group of guards to surround and kill Wei Chu. Song Qiufeng was a vengeful person. Wei Chu had broken one of Song Qiufeng's arms previously. Song Qiufeng had never forgotten this debt. With the addition of Song Qiufeng's group of 10, the pressure on Tang Ao's side decreased. Huang Qir and the others fought Wei Chu head-on, while Tang Ao used the primordial sacred sky bow to launch sneak attacks from the side. As the saying went, 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. Moreover, Wei Chu was currently fighting 1 against 10. Although Wei Chu's golden spear was impenetrable, he was still constantly retreating under everyone's joint attack. Seeing that Wei Chu was surrounded, Huang Tianxing and LV Kunyang immediately came to help. However, before they could arrive, a group of Blood Clan warriors had already killed their way onto the flying spirit boat. The warriors in the City of Beasts weren't the Blood Clan's targets. Everyone here was the Blood Clan's prey. There weren't many warriors on the flying spirit boat. Moreover, the human warriors were in a mess, so it was a good opportunity to snatch the flying spirit boat. Before long, all 3 flying spirit boats were under the control of the Blood Clan warriors. Even with the protection of the guards, Huang Tianxing's abdomen was still cut open by a blood demon. LV Kunyang, go kill Tang Ao. Even though he was injured, Huang Tianxing's hatred for Tang Ao didn't decrease at all. Third young master, there are many Blood Clan warriors here. I'd better stay here to protect you, LV Kunyang said as he looked around vigilantly. Go quickly. There's so many people around to protect me. Go kill Tang Ao. Huang Tianxing hated Tang Ao to the core. LV Kunyang hesitated for a moment and was about to make a move, but Huang Tianxing stopped him. Wait, third young master, do you have any other instructions? LV Kunyang asked with a frown. To be honest, LV Kunyang didn't want to participate in this battle. Such a chaotic battle was both dangerous and safe, but there were no benefits. I was the one who killed Yang Feng. Huang Tianxing cautiously looked around and said to LV Kunyang. Although LV Kunyang already had some guesses, he was still shocked to hear it from Huang Tianxing's own mouth. Third young master's actions. LV Kunyang was interrupted by Huang Tianxing. You don't need to ask any more questions. You already know why I'm doing this. Now go and kill Tang Ao. Once Tang Ao is dead, everything will be fine. LV Kunyang naturally understood Huang Tianxing's words. Huang Tianxing killed Yang Feng, but framed Tang Ao. As long as Tang Ao died, there would be no evidence. At that time, even if Yang Tianxing had any suspicions, he wouldn't dare to suspect Huang Tianxing. Swish, swish, swish. The primordial sacred heavenly bow in Tang Ao's hand exploded with a resplendent radiance. 3 profound sky arrows directly hit Wei Chu's body. Although Wei Chu had a good armor on him, under the bombardment of the profound sky arrows, Wei Chu's immortal spiritual force was still shaken by Tang Ao's profound sky arrows. In addition to the surrounding attacks from Song Qiufeng and the others, Wei Chu was in danger. Buzz! Just at this moment, a powerful spatial fluctuation spread out. Immediately after, everyone saw that many array flags had appeared in the surroundings unknowingly. These array flags disappeared in a flash, but everyone felt a strong sense of danger. Chapter 2572. Normally, an array was formed by many array flags. Some special arrays even required the help of array disks or other treasures. But now, LV Kunying's array flag was a whole array. At this moment, LV Kunying's array flag landed, and a martial artist was about to be killed by him. Although Wei Chu was at the first level of Yin Yang realm, he was still no match for everyone's attacks. But now, with LV Kunying's help, Wei Chu immediately recovered. The array flags that Tang Ao threw out also formed a barrier within LV Kunying's array. Numerous lightning bolts fell, but they were all blocked by Tang Ao's array barrier. LV Kunying looked at Tang Ao in surprise. He could also tell that Tang Ao was a rank 4 immortal array master, just like him. The reason why LV Kunying could become a rank 4 immortal array master was because he had been cultivating array Dao since the beginning of his cultivation. Only when he reached the 9th level of Astral Reaching Realm did he become a rank 4 immortal array master. However, Tang Ao was only at the 4th level of Astral Reaching Realm. Even if Tang Ao spent all his time cultivating array Dao, it would still be very shocking for him to be able to become a rank 4 immortal array master at the 4th level of Astral Reaching Realm. Tang Ao's array Dao talent could be described as monstrous. But what LV Kunying did not know was that Tang Ao was proficient in array Dao, artifact forging, and alchemy. Relatively speaking, Tang Ao spent the least amount of time studying arrays. Brother Kunying, thank you. Wei Chu cupped his fists towards LV Kunying. Although he was a Yin Yang realm martial artist, he was still very respectful towards LV Kunying, who was a rank 4 immortal array master. The status of a rank 4 immortal array master was even higher than an Yin Yang realm martial artist in Sky Star City. In the desolate martial realm, it was not easy to produce a rank 4 immortal array master, not to mention a rank 4 immortal array master who was good at divination and had unlimited potential. LV Kunying nodded. Then, he looked at Tang Ao and said, "Since we're both grade 4 immortal array masters, why don't we have a spar?" The reason why Wei Chu was suppressed to the brink of death was because Tang Ao posed a great threat to Wei Chu. More than half of Wei Chu's attention was on guarding against Tang Ao's primordial Sacred Heaven Bow. Therefore, as long as LV Kunying could distract Tang Ao, the pressure on Wei Chu would decrease. Although Wei Chu wasn't as strong as Yang Tianshang, it shouldn't be a problem for him to deal with the remaining people. Okay, Tang Ao did not reject LV Kunying's challenge. The threat that LV Kunying posed to Huang Qir and the others was not small either. There was one more thing that Tang Ao wanted to learn from LV Kunying's array Dao. Tang Ao could see that whether it was breaking the array or attacking just now, LV Kunying's method of fighting against the enemy was using arrays. Perhaps it was because LV Kunying had only learned a single method of array formation that he was able to use array formations to such an extent. Because he was focused, he was outstanding. Tang Ao moved and flew directly to the south of the City of Beasts. Because of LV Kunying's attack, just now, the array formation at the south of the City of Beasts had been completely broken. Even now, it had not recovered. Therefore, the south of the City of Beasts had the most number of blood, kindred warriors, and blood slaves. Tang Ao's purpose in luring LV Kunying here was self-evident. Although many blood, kindred, and blood slaves had already rushed into the City of Beasts, the number of blood kindred that had entered the City of Beasts was, after all, a small number. There were still many blood slaves outside who wanted to rush in through the gap in the South City wall. Chapter 2573. Swish, swish, swish. Several air-piercing sounds resounded, and 5 array flags instantly appeared behind LV Kunying. These 5 array flags had metal, wood, water, fire, and earth runes respectively. Hundreds of array flags surrounded LV Kuan Yang. LV Kuan Yang waved his hand, and several fire symbol array flags flew towards Tang Ao. In an instant, a grade 4 blazing sky burning array immediately floated above LV Kuan Yang's head. When he saw this scene, Tang Ao's face turned solemn. In such a short period of time, Tang Ao might not even be able to set up a grade 3 immortal array. If Tang Ao was only using arrays to fight LV Kuan Yang, then there was no need to continue. Tang Ao would have already lost. Tang Ao did not lose in terms of his attainments in the array Dao, but in terms of the usage of array formations. Previously, Tang Ao had also used spirit arrays to fight with others, but the spirit arrays that Tang Ao used must have been arranged in advance, or there was enough time for Tang Ao to arrange the spirit arrays. Tang Ao had never imagined that LV Kuan Yang could set up a formation in the middle of a battle. Boom, boom, boom. After the blazing sky-burning array was set up, 3 blazing sun-like fireballs flew towards Tang Ao. These 3 fireballs lit up half the sky, and the terrifyingly high temperature caused the non-blood slaves to howl as they continuously retreated. Clearly, these blood slaves felt the threat of death from the 3 fireballs. Tang Ao's skypole eyes suddenly focused, and the Tai Chi pattern flashed in Tang Ao's eyes. Wisps of cold air swam around Tang Ao's body. The skypolar eyes had 2 uses. One was to observe everything in the world, and the other was to control the power of frost. This kind of ice power was different from ordinary ice. It was an extreme cold energy. Tang Ao had also tried to use this kind of extreme cold chi when he was in the Sea of Souls realm and the life and death realm. However, at that time, Tang Ao was not very familiar with the skypolar eyes, and Tang Ao's cultivation was not high enough. Therefore, the power of this extreme cold chi was limited. However, things are different now. After coming into contact with the darkness origin essence, Tang Ao's understanding of the heaven and earth Tao law had deepened once again, and his heavenly polar eyes had also advanced once again. Moreover, Tang Ao's current cultivation was no longer at the Sea of Souls realm, nor at the life and death realm, but at the astral reaching realm. In the true martial realm, astral reaching realm was nothing. It was still a low-level existence. However, the astral reaching realm sky extreme pupil could control the extreme cold power, which was indeed shocking. This was the first time Tang Ao had used the power of extreme cold against an enemy, apart from when he was in the space-time secret realm. In midair, Tang Ao's long hair fluttered in the wind, and wisps of cold energy surged around Tang Ao's body. The heat from before had completely disappeared at this moment. LV Kunyang's expression changed. Although he did not know what kind of trick Tang Ao was going to use, seeing that Tang Ao did not use the primordial sacred sky bow, he was not that worried. The primordial sacred sky bow was a legendary treasure. LV Kunyang had also seen the power of the primordial sacred sky bow. The scene of Tang Ao using the primordial sacred sky bow to shatter the Heaven Star's bell was still fresh in LV Kunyang's mind. LV Kunyang knew that in order for the primordial sacred sky bow to display such power, it would take a certain amount of time for Tang Ao to condense the immortal spirit power. However, if Tang Ao completely gave up on defense and kept dodging to accumulate the immortal spirit power, then Tang Ao would be able to shoot out an arrow with all his strength. In that case, even if he could kill Tang Ao, he would be shot to death by the primordial sacred sky bow. Chapter 2574. Even a martial artist with a pure ice spirit root would need to be at least at the astral reaching realm level 9, or even the yin-yang realm to use this kind of spell. However, Tang Ao was only an astral reaching realm level 4 martial artist, yet he was able to perform such a horrifying spell. While everyone was shocked, Tang Ao was also secretly shocked in his heart, because right then, a strand of hair in front of Tang Ao's forehead had turned gray. Right then, Tang Ao could clearly feel that after performing this spell, not only had all of his spirit power and soul power been used up, even his lifespan had been reduced by 1,000 years. Astral-reaching realm martial artists had about 100,000 years of lifespan. Losing 1,000 years of lifespan was like a normal person losing 1 year in a blink of an eye. It sounded easy, but when it really happened to one, besides feeling it was unbelievable, one would also feel a deep fear. Other people only knew that Tang Ao had summoned a huge ice brick with his sky-polar eyes, but Tang Ao knew that it was not an ice brick at all. Inside this ice brick, there was something extremely horrifying. Puff! Tang Ao puked out a mouthful of blood. Then, Tang Ao's body swayed a couple of times before falling down from the sky. The battle between Tang Ao and LV Kuanyang had been watched by a lot of people, but no one had thought that something like this would happen. Once the battle had started, Tang Ao had been badly wounded for no reason. Tang Ao did not fall onto the ground. Instead, he landed on a soft body. Tang Ao lifted up his head and saw Ling Shuyao's beautiful face. "Brother Tang Ao, what happened?" Ling Shuya looked at Tang Ao anxiously. Just now, Ling Shuya was also fighting with 2 martial artists from Stellar Sky City. When she saw that Tang Ao was suddenly injured, Ling Shuya immediately broke away from her opponent and rushed over. "I used a powerful technique." Tang Ao was also feeling very depressed. Back in Pill Sage Green Rock's space-time mystic realm, when Tang Ao used the heavenly polar eyes, he was able to summon an ice warrior. That Arctic warrior was very cumbersome, but its defensive power was astonishing. Even Tang Ao's Thousand Hands imprint was unable to shake it in the slightest. The blazing sky-burning array that LV Kuanyang had set up was a Grade 4 immortal array that could directly threaten Yin Yang realm martial artists. Tang Ao didn't dare to hold back, so he immediately used Sky Polarity Pupils. However, Tang Ao did not expect such a thing to happen. Previously, he didn't summon the Ice Warrior. Instead, he summoned a strange thing. Could it be a forbidden technique? Ling Shuya asked uncertainly. Ling Shuya was currently supporting Tang Ao. Therefore, Ling Shuya could clearly sense that Tang Ao's soul force and immortal spiritual power were so weak that they were almost undetectable. Moreover, when she had caught Tang Ao, she realized that Tang Ao's vitality was constantly dissipating. Only now did it calm down. Tang Ao shook his head and didn't say anything. After all, even Tang Ao didn't know what had happened. Bang! However, at this moment, LV Kuanyang's 3 huge fireballs had already bombarded the floating ice blocks in midair. Under the bombardment of the 3 fireballs, the sky was filled with ice shards and countless ice crystals were falling from the sky, following which a wisp of azure flame appeared in front of everyone's eyes. After seeing this wisp of flame, everyone was stunned. This wisp of flame was like a basin-sized azure fireball that was slowly burning. Roar! However, at this moment, an earth-shaking roar came from the ice block. Then, countless pieces of ice fell. A huge figure that spanned across the sky appeared in front of everyone. Heavens, is that a dragon? How can there be such a strange dragon? What the hell is that thing? That flame just now was actually the eyeball of this monster. The sound of inhaling rose and fell as countless people discussed animatedly. The blood slaves that didn't have much intelligence were trembling as they looked at the sky, as though there was a terrifying existence in midair. Chapter 2575. The primordial ice dragon reached out with its claw, shattering the void. LV Kuanyang immediately took out the Sky Star City's life-saving treasure, the Sky Star Bell. However, the Sky Star Bell, which was known for its defense, was completely vulnerable to the primordial ice dragon's claw. Under the primordial ice dragon's claw, LV Kuanyang instantly exploded into a bloody mist. Roar! After killing LV Kuanyang, the primordial ice dragon spat out a mouthful of ice breath. Hundreds of thousands of blood slaves and blood clan members below were instantly turned into ice cubes. As the primordial ice dragon roared, the ice cubes shattered inch by inch. The blood clan members and blood slaves that were frozen in ice were instantly turned into ashes. At that moment, the primordial ice dragon's consciousness seemed to be in a state of chaos. The 3 flying spirit boats in the sky were directly smashed by the primordial ice dragon's claw. Witnessing such a sudden change, all the Blood Clan and the 100 Bee Cities cultivators who were engaged in battle immediately stopped their attacks, staring in terror at the terrifying and domineering immemorial ice dragon hovering in the air. Under everyone's shocked gazes, the primordial ice dragon flapped its wings and flew up. Then, it directly collided with the slowly rotating blood source array that was suspended in the sky. This 9th-grade immortal array was actually broken in half by the primordial ice dragon's attack. The blood-colored radiance that descended from the sky suddenly disappeared. Countless blood slaves let out a blood-curdling scream, and their auras instantly weakened by several levels. Under this impact, the primordial ice dragon's body also shattered, turning into a sky full of ice and dissipating into thin air. No one noticed that at that moment. A wisp of dragon soul instantly entered Tang Ao's glabella. Tang Ao spat out another mouthful of fresh blood. Tang Ao did not expect the heavenly polar eyes to actually be able to summon a primordial ice dragon. Furthermore, it was just a clone of the primordial ice dragon, not the actual body. Tang Ao found it hard to imagine how terrifying the rumored primordial ice dragon was. The primordial ice dragon was a powerful existence in the legends. It was said to be a top-notch divine beast that was no weaker than a god-king expert. Tang Ao also felt an additional dragon soul in his sea of knowledge. This dragon soul was only a remnant strand. After entering Tang Ao's sea of knowledge, it seemed to have fallen into a deep slumber and did not move at all. Since the primordial ice dragon had destroyed the Blood Clan's blood source formation, the Blood Clan martial artists in the City of Beast had retreated immediately. Without the support of the blood source array, these Blood Tri martial artists were no match for the City of Beast martial artists. Many of the blood slaves fled in all directions. As the blood slaves fled, the warriors of the City of Beasts slaughtered them. During this period of time, they had been trapped in the City of Beasts by the blood servants. Many of them were extremely frustrated. If they did not vent their frustrations now, they would die of frustration. As for the Heavenly Star City, it was extremely unfortunate. Just now, the primordial ice dragon's ice breath had instantly killed most of the martial artists in the Stellar Sky City. Even if Yang Tianxing had not executed his secret art in time to escape, he would have been turned into ice shards. Looking at the place where the primordial ice dragon had vanished, Yang Tianxing's heart could not calm down for a long time. Just a moment ago, Yang Tianxing, had actually taken a trip to the gates of hell. Yang Tianxing sighed in his heart. Fortunately, the ice dragon did not notice him. If he had been in front of the ice dragon like LV Kuan, his body and soul would have been annihilated. Chapter 2576. Although Tang Ao was extremely weak at the moment, Huang Tianxing and his group couldn't care less about Tang Ao. After the Blood Clan's blood source formation was destroyed by the primordial ice dragon, the Blood Clan and blood slaves retreated like a receding tide. Under the protection of the blood source formation, the Blood Clan martial artists could continuously replenish the blood energy they consumed. Even if they were injured, they could recover quickly due to the blood source formation. Many techniques that were difficult to execute normally could be easily executed with the help of the blood source formation. Now that the blood source formation was gone, the Blood Clan martial artists were in chaos. The blood slaves with low intelligence let out anguished wails. The source of the blood slaves' power was the Blood Origin Grand Formation. Once the Blood Origin Grand Formation was broken, if they didn't have blood chi to replenish it, the blood slaves' blood chi would dry up and they would die. Even those strange blood demons had no choice but to leave this place and escape to a place where the blood source formation was not destroyed. After the Blood Clan retreated, the people of Sky Star City immediately became the target of public criticism. In addition, the primordial ice dragon's dragon breath had killed half of the martial artists of Sky Star City. The remaining martial artists of Sky Star City didn't dare to stay any longer. However, because the Blood Clan had retreated, it wasn't easy for Huang Tianqing and his group to leave. Even though the Sky Star City guards tried their best to protect him, Huang Tianqing's body was still pierced by several people by the time he escaped from Sky Star City. His aura was also extremely weak. Huang Yuechen glared at Luo Shi. Huang Yuechen's left arm had been completely chopped off by Luo Shi's Heavenfall axe. In Huang Yuechen's mind, Luo Shi was already on his kill list. There were many martial artists surrounding Luo Shi, but now that everyone had retreated, Luo Shi wasn't injured at all. If Luo Shi didn't hide his strength and attacked with all his might, Huang Yuechen wouldn't have just lost an arm. He wouldn't have been able to walk out of the City of Beasts. After Huang Yuechen and his group retreated, everyone's hearts were heavy. The battle this time had not gone on for very long, but the 100 Beast Cities cultivators had suffered heavy casualties. Many martial artists with low cultivation had survived under the protection of the City of Beasts. However, because the City of Beasts' formation was destroyed, a large number of Blood Clan martial artists flooded in. Only a few of these martial artists with low cultivation were still alive. It wasn't just the martialists with low cultivation levels. Many martialists with good cultivation levels had also fallen under the terrifying offensive of the Blood Clan. The night wind was bleak. This was a sleepless night for many. In the short span of a day, many of his comrades who had fought alongside him in the past had disappeared forever. The vampires and the blood slaves had already retreated, but the ruins in the City of Beasts told everyone that a fierce battle had taken place here not long ago. This battle was unnecessary. If it wasn't for Huang Tianqing's narrow-mindedness, he would have attacked the City of Beasts' defense array time and time again. This time, he even destroyed the southern defense array completely, allowing the Blood Clan to enter. If all of this didn't happen, then 7 days later, the Blood Clan's blood source array would automatically weaken. At that time, many people here would be able to leave alive. Cough, cough. In Tang Ao's refining room, Tang Ao couldn't help but cough twice. Even at this moment, the immortal spiritual force in Tang Ao's body was still in a mess. The strand of white hair hanging down from Tang Ao's forehead was even more glaring. This strand of white hair was filled with the vicissitudes of time. Tang Ao had never heard of a secret technique that could instantly reduce one's lifespan by 1,000 years. Chapter 2577. I'm fine. I'll recover after resting for a while. What's the situation outside now? Although Tang Ao spoke casually, he was smiling bitterly in his heart. If an ordinary person had been in his current state, they would have needed at least a year to recover. However, Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Soul was constantly repairing Tang Ao's damaged meridians and organs. Therefore, Tang Ao was recovering very quickly. However, Tang Ao had lost too much blood essence this time, and his lifespan had been reduced by 1,000 years. Even though Tang Ao was a grade 3 alchemy master, he still needed to rest for a few days before he could recover. The Blood Clan warriors and the Blood Slaves have already retreated to the Golden Sand City. The City of Beasts' defense array has been basically repaired. Everyone is also helping to repair the other things. It's all thanks to you this time. Otherwise, I don't know how many more people would have died. We don't have any conflicts of interest with the Sky Star City. I don't know why Huang Tianqing has always been against us. Is it because we are weak that we don't even have the right to live? As Ling Shuiao said this, her eyes were very gloomy. Originally, apart from Ling Shuiao, there was a pair of twin sisters in this city. They were also from the Spirit Blood Demon clan. However, because LV Kuanyang had broken the defense array, the twin sisters had been captured by the Blood Demon. Ling Shuiao didn't continue thinking about it. Instead, she looked at Tang Ao blankly, as if she wanted to seek an answer from Tang Ao. Tang Ao chuckled and immediately reached out to touch Ling Shuiao's hair. Although Ling Shuiyao knew that Tang Ao had this bad habit when talking to people close to him, she still felt very warm when she saw Tang Ao touch Huang Qir's hair. However, when she saw Tang Ao touch Huang Qir's head, she felt very warm. Now that Tang Ao was touching her head, Ling Shuiyao was not used to it. She didn't reject Tang Ao. Among the human warriors that Ling Shuiyao had met, Tang Ao was a very interesting and warm person. However, Ling Shuiyao was not used to Tang Ao's behavior. The law of the jungle prevails everywhere in the true martial world. The law of the jungle had never changed. However, this didn't mean that the weak didn't have the right to live and the strong could do whatever they wanted. Since every living being existed, there was a reason for their existence. As long as your heart is filled with hope, you will always feel warmth. Ling Shuiyao was still pondering over Tang Ao's words, but Tang Ao had already walked out. This was because Tang Ao's soul remembrance had detected that Song Qiufeng was currently anxiously standing outside Tang Ao's forging room. Although Tang Ao and Song Qiufeng had a cooperative relationship, Song Qiufeng wasn't worried about him, but the batch of pure gold immortal artifacts. However, during the battle with Wei Chu, Song Qiufeng had been able to help in time and resolve Tang Ao's crisis. President Song, how have you been? Ha ha ha. Seeing Tang Ao walk out, Song Qiufeng laughed heartily. Then, Song Qiufeng patted Tang Ao's shoulder. Brother Tang Ao, I knew you would be fine. Thank you for your concern, Brother Song. Here are the remaining 50 pure gold immortal artifacts. Brother Song, please check them. Tang Ao didn't beat around the bush. Since Song Qiufeng's goal was the remaining 50 pure gold immortal artifacts, Tang Ao took them out. These pure gold immortal artifacts had already been forged by Tang Ao. Chapter 2578. Song Qiufeng took the storage ring from Tang Ao and put it away without checking it. This surprised Tang Ao a little. When Tang Ao had handed the scarlet gold immortal weapon to Song Qiufeng for the first time, Song Qiufeng had put it away without checking it either. Whether this trust was genuine or not, it was enough to make one feel grateful. Even if this was the method of a businessman, Tang Ao could only say that it was a brilliant move. Brother Tang Ao, I am leaving. Here's a gift for you. Song Qiufeng handed a storage pouch to Tang Ao. This storage pouch was no ordinary storage pouch. Although it was his first time seeing it, Tang Ao could still recognize that it was the cosmic storage pouch that he had seen in Yun Xiaoyao's Master Guide of Weapon Forging. Apart from the huge space inside, the most unique feature of the so-called cosmic storage pouch was that the warrior could actually store it in such a storage pouch. The cosmic storage pouch was like a silk pouch that shone with starlight. Tang Ao probed it with his psyche and realized that there was a lake in the storage pouch. Beside the lake was a courtyard. There was a pavilion in the middle of the lake, and 3 items were placed on the table in the middle of the pavilion. There was a token made of an unknown material. This token piqued Tang Ao's curiosity. Tang Ao was now a 3rd-grade immortal weapon master, but even Tang Ao could not recognize what material this token was made of. The words 1,000 Merchant House were written on the token. It seemed to be a token of the 1,000 Merchant House. Apart from the token, there were 2 storage rings. One of the storage rings contained 300 sets of materials needed to forge a scarlet gold immortal weapon. The other storage ring didn't contain the scarlet gold sand, but it was even more precious. Many weapon masters might not know what this material was, but Tang Ao knew it. It was the Starry Sky Dao Jade. Moreover, this piece of Starry Sky Dao Jade was 5 feet square. Even with Tang Ao's wealth, such an item was a treasure among treasures. Tang Ao did not know why Song Qiufeng had given him such a huge gift. Brother Song, what is the meaning of this? The scarlet gold sand and the token were dispensable to Tang Ao. Tang Ao still had 300 sets of scarlet gold sand on him. As for the token, Tang Ao was a warrior of the immortal ruin chamber of commerce. There seemed to be no need for him to join other chambers. However, This piece of starry sky Dao jade had indeed tempted Tang Ao. I want to tell you two things. Listen to me first, then consider whether you want to accept this thing or not. The first thing was that even though the entire true martial world was vast and boundless, there were only 36 martial worlds in the true martial world that were truly rich and prosperous. There were countless merchant houses of various sizes in the 36 martial worlds, but among them, there were 4 merchant houses that were the largest. On the path of cultivation, resources were the most important. These 4 merchant houses were the strongest, so they naturally controlled the most resources. Song Qiufeng's words made Tang Ao curious. Tang Ao knew that the immortal ruin chamber of commerce operated in several martial realms. However, this was the first time Tang Ao had heard about the so-called 4 great merchant houses. Seeing Tang Ao's curiosity, Song Qiufeng continued. The number 1 merchant house is the Black Chamber of Commerce of the Heavenly Martial Realm. The Black Chamber of Commerce has the support of the Heavenly Martial Lord, so its foundation is in the Heavenly Martial Realm, the number 1 martial realm of the 36 martial realms. If the Black Chamber of Commerce wanted to, it could even control the rise and fall of some weak martial realms. Chapter 2579. Apart from the Black Chamber of Commerce, there are 3 other chambers of commerce. One is the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce that has a connection with you. The other is the Starry Sky Chamber of Commerce that has a monopoly on void battleships. The last one is our Thousand Merchants House. The Thousand Merchants House had a house master, 5 honorary elders, and 12 gold medal elders. Song Qiufeng was a gold medal elder of the Thousand Merchants House. He even had hopes of becoming an honorary elder in the future. Once Song Qiufeng became an honorary elder, he would be second only to one person. I'm telling you this because I want to have a long-term cooperation with you. You are a formation master, refiner, and alchemist. As long as you refine immortal tools and elixirs, I can digest them all. I can also do my best to provide some of the things you need for your cultivation. I believe you can see my sincerity. Tang Ao understood that the sincerity Song Qiufeng was talking about was the Starry Sky storage bag and the Starry Sky Dao Jade. Rather than saying this was Song Qiufeng's sincerity, it was better to say that Song Qiufeng was showing off his strength. Tang Ao didn't know how the Thousand Merchant House operated, but he knew that the Thousand Merchant House had developed to the same level as the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce. Moreover, Song Qiufeng was a gold medal elder under the house master and honorary elder. Therefore, cooperating with Song Qiufeng wouldn't be a loss for Tang Ao. Brother Song, I've already seen your strength. However, I will be returning to the Langya boundaries soon. Even if I want to cooperate with you, how will I contact you? Tang Ao believed that Song Qiufeng must have considered this issue. Otherwise, Song Qiufeng wouldn't have come to cooperate with him. However, Tang Ao didn't understand how Song Qiufeng was going to deal with this. Ha ha ha, Brother Tang Ao. On the surface, the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce is a chamber of commerce that spans the 4 great martial realms. However, in reality, it spans the 8 great martial realms. Our Thousand Merchants House doesn't have a decent branch in other martial worlds like the Chamber of Commerce in the Immortal Ruins. However, our Chamber of Commerce can be found almost everywhere in the true martial world. Our name is different, but it still belongs to us. Song Qiufeng's words caused Tang Ao's heart to tremble. Tang Ao hadn't expected that the Thousand Merchant House would be able to infiltrate to this extent. At this moment, Tang Ao also understood the use of the token in the universal storage bag. Since Song Qiufeng had taken care of everything, there was naturally no problem for the two of them to work together. Then I shall accept your invitation. Tang Ao nodded his head and immediately kept the Starry Sky storage bag that Song Qiufeng had given him. After putting away the Starry Sky storage bag, Tang Ao handed a jade bottle to Song Qiufeng. There was only one pill in the jade bottle. Because there was a restriction on the jade bottle, Song Qiufeng didn't open it and politely accepted it. After receiving the pills from Tang Ao, Song Qiufeng and Tang Ao talked about the details of the cooperation in detail before leaving. Tang Ao believed that with the Chamber of Immortality's strength, the Chamber of Immortality would be able to accept all the celestial weapons and elixirs he refined and give him a satisfactory price. Chapter 2580. A beast carriage was parked outside the city of beasts. This beast carriage wasn't extravagant or ostentatious. On the contrary, it was very low-key. No one would have thought that Song Qiufeng, one of the gold medal elders of the Thousand Merchants building, would travel in such a simple carriage. It was just that this beast carriage looked simple, but there was a whole other universe inside. The interior of the beast carriage was a space of its own. There was a magnificent hall inside the beast carriage. Song Qiufeng was sitting in the main seat, looking very pleased with himself. "President, you seem to favor Tang Ao?" A voice came from nowhere. The voice was very clear, but the speaker couldn't be seen. Not only couldn't he see the speaker, but he couldn't even sense his aura. It was as if the speaker didn't exist at all. "Tang Ao is a good partner. If he can provide me with satisfactory goods, I won't let him suffer a loss." Song Qiufeng didn't care about the person hiding in the dark. As he spoke, he took out the storage ring and elixirs that Tang Ao had given him. Song Qiufeng didn't check them in front of Tang Ao. Although Song Qiufeng trusted Tang Ao, he had to check them carefully now that they were out of the City of Beasts. The Thousand Merchants building had a building master and 5 honorary elders. Many people knew this, but not many people knew that one of the honorary elders, who was Song Qiufeng's immediate superior, had been missing for a long time. However, Song Qiufeng was very ambitious, and his methods were very shocking. The honorary elder in charge of the Thousand Merchants building was just a substitute that Song Qiufeng had found. Song Qiufeng had wanted to replace him for a long time. This time, these pure gold immortal artifacts were his opportunity. Pure gold immortal artifacts were very special in the true martial realm. There were many immortal artifacts that could be absorbed into the body and nourished. However, there were only a few types of immortal artifacts that could be absorbed and nourished along with a martial artist's growth. Pure gold immortal artifacts were one of them. Pure gold immortal artifacts could be constantly nourished by the martial artist's comprehension of the Tao laws and the martial artist's spiritual sea. The stronger the martial artist, the stronger the pure gold immortal artifact that was nourished. A good scarlet gold immortal artifact, even if it was just a grade 1 immortal artifact, was very valuable. With a thought, a crimson gold saber slowly appeared in front of Song Qiufeng. This golden red saber wasn't refined by Tang Ao. It was obtained by Song Qiufeng in the heavenly martial arts realm after paying a huge price. Song Qiufeng had refined it into an immortal artifact. However, after seeing the scarlet gold immortal artifact that Tang Ao had forged, Song Qiufeng felt a little regretful. This was because the scarlet gold immortal artifact that Tang Ao had forged was not only of shocking quality, but had also been forged thrice by the refined spirit. Even those old fellows in the Thousand Merchant House would be tempted by such a treasure. Song Qiufeng casually pulled out a crimson gold saber refined by Tang Ao and asked without any ripples in her eyes, "Black Fox, what do you think of this crimson gold saber refined by Great Master Su compared to the one refined by Tang Ao?" After a short while, Song Qiufeng's expression changed. "My goodness, a grade 4 crimson gold saber refined by a refined spirit." Even Song Qiufeng hadn't seen this batch of scarlet gold immortal artifacts before. Song Qiufeng hadn't expected that Tang Ao would give him such a pleasant surprise. After seeing the golden red saber, even Black Fox, who was hiding in the dark, was speechless. Chapter 2581. Hence, when he had given the starry sky Tao Jade to Tang Ao, he had prepared a yin-yang dual extreme elixir for himself. Song Qiufeng was a gold medal elder of the Thousand Merchant House. No matter how one looked at it, Song Qiufeng was a scheming person. However, this time, Song Qiufeng's heart shuddered. Then he sighed. This Tang Ao is an open and candid person. I, Song Qiufeng, have never thought of making friends with him. Now, I actually want to make friends with this Tang Ao. What a joke. Ha ha. Song Chiofeng's guards surrounded the beast carriage. When they heard Song Chiofeng laugh, everyone looked confused. They didn't know what was going on. In the city of beasts, Tang Ao looked at the 5-foot square starry sky, Dao Jade in front of him excitedly. There were two ways to describe the starry sky Dao Jade. One was that it was a grade 9 immortal material that was extremely rare. The other was that it was a gradeless material. Other blacksmiths might not understand, but Tang Ao knew that the starry sky Dao Jade wasn't a grade 9 immortal material or a gradeless material. It was the embryo of a primordial supreme treasure. The starry sky Dao Jade couldn't be refined using ordinary methods. It needed to be refined using one's own comprehension of the heaven and earth Dao laws before it could become an artifact. Regarding this, Tang Ao was both looking forward to it and regretful at the same time. He was excited because he knew the secret of the eternal Dao fruit and that the fire Dao law was in Tang Ao's body. Perhaps in the future, Tang Ao would have a chance to use the eternal Dao law to refine this starry sky Dao Jade. Unfortunately, Tang Ao clearly wouldn't have a chance to use such a treasure in the near future. After all, until now, Tang Ao hadn't sensed anything special about the fire Dao law in his body. Only Tang Ao knew that the fire Dao law was hidden in his body. However, Tang Ao couldn't use it to do anything. However, Tang Ao also knew a secret. In this world, there could only be one martialist with the 9 dragons, Emperor's Jade body. If Tang Ao perished, then the fire Dao law would take form in the body of another martialist with the 9 dragons, Emperor's Jade body. Junior brother Tang Ao, come out and drink. As Tang Ao was looking at the starry sky Dao Jade, Luo Shi's voice came from outside. Tang Ao kept the starry sky Dao Jade and walked out. Senior brother Luo, aren't you looking for trouble by asking me to drink with you? Tang Ao took a jar of wine from Luo Shi's hand. After scanning it with his sole remembrance, he silently shook his head. Luo Shi really didn't know anything about wine, or rather, as long as it was wine, Luo Shi would drink it. This was because Luo Shi's 2 jars of wine were of very low quality. It could be considered a first-grade immortal wine. However, Tang Ao knew that someone like Luo Shi, who could pass out in 1 cup, would also get drunk on such a wine. I compete with martial tomb in martial arts and Li Chunfeng in love. As for drinking, let's not compete. After Luo Shi finished speaking, he started drinking heartily. From Luo Shi's words, it wasn't hard to tell that he was a person with a story. However, Luo Shi clearly had no intention of telling a story. That night, all the hidden wines in the city of beasts were found. The blood slaves and the blood tribe had retreated, so everyone could leave the city of beasts. There was even a group of cultivators like Song Chiofeng who had already left the 100 Beast city that very night. The remaining martialists who hadn't left were mostly drinking to their heart's content. Under such circumstances, no one knew if they could survive. Chapter 25:82. However, all they could do now was to drink to their heart's content. The path of martial arts was always accompanied by bloodshed and death. However, the huge stone tablet erected in the center of the city of beasts was a little consolation. There were 4 lists on this stone tablet: the contribution list, the blood servant list, the blood kindred list, and the blood demon list. Each of the 4 lists had 3,000 names. Although not every martial artist who fought in the city of beasts could be recorded on the list, this list recorded the martial artists who stood up bravely when the city of beasts was at its most dangerous. However, this list recorded the martial artists who stood up when the city of beasts was at its most dangerous. Some martial artists were only on one of the lists, but there were also martial artists who were on all 4 lists. This night seemed to be very long. Of course, Tang Ao could not get drunk on this middle-grade immortal wine. After helping the drunk and unconscious Luo Shi back to his cultivation room, Tang Ao began to check the array around the city of beasts. Tang Ao was also preparing to leave. Tang Ao had a special feeling for the city of beasts. Before leaving the city of beasts, Tang Ao wanted to do one last thing for the city of beasts. Tang Ao did not know if he would return to this place after leaving this time, and how long it would take for him to come back again. The materials contributed by the martial artists in the City of Beasts have been refined by Tang Ao into various array flags and many immortal equipment. A small portion of these immortal equipment were given to the martial artists in the City of Beasts. Most of them were in the warehouse of the City of Beasts. As Tang Ao walked on the city wall of the inner city, Tang Ao suddenly had an idea. Immediately, Tang Ao took out the array flags and began to set up an array in the inner city of the City of Beasts. The outer city of the City of Beasts had a defense array, but the inner city did not. Because of this, after the defense array of the outer city wall was destroyed, the martial artists in the City of Beasts immediately had no place to hide. Previously, because the defense array in the outer city of the City of Beasts was very powerful, no one cared if there was a defense array in the inner city. However, after experiencing the destruction of the outer city's defense array, Tang Ao felt that it was necessary to set up an array formation in the inner city. Just as Tang Ao took out array flags and began to set them up, Tang Ao suddenly saw a figure not far away, also setting up array flags. "Junior sister Ling, what a coincidence!" Tang Ao shouted at Ling Shuiao, who was not far away. At this moment, Ling Shuiao was concentrating on arranging the array flags. When she suddenly heard Tang Ao's voice, Ling Shuiao was really scared for a moment by Tang Ao. However, when she saw the array flags behind Tang Ao, Ling Shuiao pursed her lips. Ling Shuiao had not expected that Tang Ao would actually be willing to set up a defense array for the inner city of the City of Beasts. "Big brother Tang Ao, you haven't recovered from your injuries. Aren't you going to rest?" "Junior sister Ling, you're here at the right time. The two of us will each be responsible for half of the area. It won't be long before we can set up a grade 4 defense immortal array in the inner city," Tang Ao said to Ling Shuiao. "Big brother Tang Ao, but I don't know if this will be of any use." Naturally, Ling Shuiao was willing to set up an array formation with Tang Ao. However, what troubled Ling Shuiao was that if the grade 5 immortal array in the outer city could be broken, what use would the grade 4 immortal array in the inner city be? The use of an array formation is naturally limited. Therefore, the inner city not only needs a grade 4 defense array, but also a killing array and many teleportation arrays. The array formation in the inner city isn't meant to stop enemies, but to delay them. If there's no other choice, we can leave the City of Beasts safely. Chapter 2583. However, Ling Shuiao soon found herself in a difficult position. The teleportation array could teleport people within a certain range and could also teleport them to a specific location. Under normal circumstances, the teleportation array could only be used to its fullest potential if the person was teleported to a safe location. Although Ling Shuiao had a certain understanding of the City of Beasts' surroundings, Ling Shuiao had no idea where the City of Beasts could be considered a safe place. "Senior brother Tang Ao, there doesn't seem to be a suitable place for teleportation around the City of Beasts," Ling Shuiao said after some thought. "The ice lake in Wufeng Mountain." Tang Ao blurted out a place. When she heard Tang Ao mention that place, Ling Shuiao was shocked. Wufeng Mountain was covered in ice and snow all year round. There were many monsters there. How could such a place be considered safe? Moreover, the clear spirit ice lake in Wufeng Mountain was extremely cold. An ordinary warrior would definitely be frozen into an ice sculpture there. I have set up a teleportation array in a hidden area of the clear spirit ice lake. As long as the teleportation array here is connected to that teleportation array, we can teleport to the clear spirit ice lake. I will be in charge of the teleportation array, and you will assist me. After Tang Ao said that, he started to set up the teleportation array in the inner City of Beasts. Many warriors saw Tang Ao and Ling Shuiao. Of course, they also saw the two of them busily setting up the teleportation array. Everyone was deeply grateful to Tang Ao and Ling Shuiao. There were many reasons why the City of Beasts had been able to survive this time. However, The contribution of these two teleportation array masters to the City of Beasts was indelible. Even if Tang Ao set up the teleportation array alone, his speed would not be slow. Furthermore, he had Ling Shuyao's help. Originally, Tang Ao had estimated that he would need 8 hours to set up the teleportation array. However, it only took slightly more than 2 hours for it to be completed. After the formation was set up, Tang Ao and Ling Shuyao looked at each other and smiled. Neither Tang Ao nor Ling Shuyao had thought that the two of them would have such a high level of tacit understanding when it came to array formations. Although it was their first time working together, they did not make a single mistake during the entire process of setting up the array. Junior sister Ling, what do you plan to do next? Tang Ao asked Ling Shuyao, who was sitting beside him. I don't know. I want to stay in the City of Beasts for a while and then go to other places. Ling Shuyao's eyes were a little blank. It seemed that this problem was not within Ling Shuyao's consideration. In the past, Ling Shuyao had never thought of leaving the City of Beasts. However, after listening to Tang Ao's previous words, Ling Shuyao felt that she should go out and gain some experience. Senior brother Tang Ao, are you leaving tomorrow? Ling Shuyao knew that Tang Ao was a warrior of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. This time, he had come to the desolate martial realm to kill the Blood Clan. Now that the Blood Clan had suffered heavy casualties and the Blood Source formation was shrinking, Tang Ao might have to leave. Yes, junior sister Kerr and I are both warriors of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. In a few days, we will return to Langya Realm. If you go to Langya Realm in the future, you can find me at the Chamber of Immortal Ruins in Langya Realm. You can also find junior sister Kerr at the Dao Seeking Academy. Until now, Tang Ao had not been to Langya Realm. However, Tang Ao estimated that after he went to Langya Realm, he would also go to the Chamber of Immortal Ruins. Chapter 2584. Ling Shuyao didn't speak much. She rarely interacted with others. Although she looked cold, that wasn't the case. That night, Tang Ao spoke most of the time. Ling Shuyao listened quietly from the side, looking very obedient. Unknowingly, a ray of light shone on the land. A new day had arrived. This ray of light seemed to ignite hope in the hearts of countless people. The depressed martial artist from yesterday had been revitalized today. Junior sister Ling, I'm leaving. We'll meet again if fate wills it. Tang Ao smiled slightly and said to Ling Shuyao, Take care, senior brother Tang Ao. This is for you. Ling Shuyao thought for a moment and handed a crystal stone to Tang Ao. This crystal stone was an ordinary cloud crystal stone. It was completely transparent. However, Tang Ao saw a drop of blood sealed within the cloud crystal stone. This drop of blood seemed to contain endless vitality. It was even exaggerated to say that this drop of blood seemed to have a life of its own. Blood demon true blood. Although it was his first time seeing it, Tang Ao still recognized this drop of blood. This drop of blood was none other than Ling Shuyao's blood essence. This drop of blood was a treasure whether it was used to refine pills or forge weapons. However, when Tang Ao came into contact with Ling Shuyao, he simply felt that Ling Shuyao was very kind and wanted to become friends with Ling Shuyao. Tang Ao didn't come for the blood demon true blood. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't hesitate and handed the cloud crystal stone back. However, Ling Shuyao shook her head. Senior brother Tang Ao, I know that you aren't someone with ulterior motives. The City of Beasts has a special meaning to me. You have done so much for the City of Beasts. I have nothing to repay you with. I can only give this drop of blood demon true blood to senior brother Tang Ao. I hope it will be of some use to you. If senior brother Tang Ao doesn't accept it, it means that you aren't willing to be friends with me. Ling Xiao bit her lip and said, All right, I'll accept it. I don't have any treasures to give junior sister Ling. But remember, no matter what trouble you encounter in the future, you must come to Langya Realm to find me. Tang Ao had many treasures on him, but Tang Ao couldn't take out anything that Ling Shuyao needed at the moment. spiritual blood demons were different from human cultivators. Spiritual blood demons were somewhat similar to Tang Ao in terms of cultivation. They didn't have bottlenecks and didn't need elixirs to break through to the next realm. As for immortal artifacts, Tang Ao only had a few scarlet gold immortal artifacts on him. They could barely be considered treasures. Even so, Tang Ao still left a large number of cultivation resources for Ling Shuiyao. Ling Shuiyao's attainments in array formations were not bad, but Ling Shuiyao didn't know how to refine elixirs. Immortal artifacts, array formation jade slips, elixirs, and many other common cultivation items were given to Ling Shuiyao by Tang Ao. Not long ago, Tang Ao had refined a 4th-grade scarlet gold immortal sword. Tang Ao had even given it to Ling Shuiyao. However, Tang Ao knew that these things couldn't compare to the value of Ling Shuiyao's drop of Blood Demon's True Blood. If this drop of Blood Demon's True Blood hadn't been forcibly extracted from Ling Shuiyao's body, it would have taken at least 3,000 years to refine. The drop of Blood Demon's True Blood in Tang Ao's hand was pure and flawless. Clearly, it had been refined over a long period of time. What's wrong? Can't bear to part with a beauty? Outside the city of beasts, Luo Shi, who was carrying the Heavenfall axe on his shoulder, couldn't help but tease. When Tang Ao came, he had only come with Huang Qir. However, when he left, Luo Shi was with him. At that moment, Tang Ao looked at the city of beasts not far away and felt rather emotional. Although Tang Ao and Ling Shuiyao had already bid farewell and exchanged gifts, Tang Ao didn't know when he would come to the city of beasts again. Or rather, would he have the chance to return to the city of beasts? Let's go. Tang Ao smiled bitterly and shook his head. Then, he left with Luo Shi and Huang Qir, heading in the direction of the Gale Desert. On the walls of the city of beasts, Ling Shuiyao had been watching Tang Ao's figure until it disappeared completely. After her master's mistake, Ling Shuiyao had been wary of the human clan. However, Tang Ao had unlocked Ling Shuiyao's heart. Chapter 2585. Senior Brother Luo, are we returning to the gathering point outside the desolate martial domain now? After leaving the city of beasts, Tang Ao put his thoughts to rest. There was no such thing as a never-ending banquet, but there was a sincere friendship after a long separation. Tang Ao believed that he would return to the city of beasts one day. As for bringing Ling Shuiyao to the Langya domain, Tang Ao had the idea, but Tang Ao quickly dismissed it. Everyone should have their own life, and Ling Shuiyao did not seem to have any intention of leaving the city of beasts. That's right. Now that the blood race's blood source formation has begun to collapse, there might be many people rushing to the gathering point. I wonder what mission we will have when we return this time. Although the 3 of us are quite strong, we should still be careful. After the Hidden Dragon list and the Hero list combined, only 100 of the 350 warriors will be left. At this time, the trial is nearing its end. Some people might want to take a shortcut. Luo Shi's expression was normal. As he spoke, he casually stepped on the yellow sand. In this dangerous Gale Desert, Luo Shi did not seem worried at all. Senior Brother 11th, what shortcut? Unlike Tang Ao, Huang Qir called Luo Shi 11th Senior Brother instead of Senior Brother Luo. Luo Shi had a headache over this, but after several attempts of persuasion to no avail, Luo Shi let her call him that. There is an ambush ahead. At this moment, a calm voice was heard. The one who spoke was Huang Qir's elusive dragon turtle. This dragon turtle was terrifyingly powerful in its giant form. In its normal state, it had a very shocking psyche perception. Now, Tang Ao did not discover anything. Even Luo Shi only felt that something was amiss. However, there was an ambush nearby. Tang Ao did not see it, and neither did Luo Shi. However, Tang Ao completely believed in the dragon turtle's words. The dragon turtle's psyche perception far surpassed his, and Tang Ao already knew that. Therefore, if the dragon turtle said there was an ambush ahead, then there must be an ambush. 3 falcons circled above Tang Ao's group of 3. In any other place, such a falcon would not attract any attention. But in this boundless desert, it was extremely unusual for this kind of falcon to appear here. Luo 11 raised his head and sneered. So that's how it is. I know who it is. Is there anyone who wants to deal with us? Huang Qir also glanced at the 3 falcons circling above her head, but she couldn't see anything. Huang Qir did not feel any threat from these 3 falcons. With a thought, Tang Ao activated his heavenly polar eyes. Under his soul remembrance, Tang Ao hadn't found anything wrong with these falcons. However, after using the sky polar pupil, Tang Ao immediately discovered that there was an array in the eyes of these 3 falcons. This formation only had one function, and that was to allow the owner of the falcon to see what the falcon saw. Tang Ao understood that this cultivator who was preparing to ambush the 3 of them had obviously been eyeing them for a long time. However, he definitely did not expect that while he was using the falcons to observe Tang Ao's group of 3, Huang Qir's dragon turtle had used its soul remembrance to detect him hiding in front. Chapter 2586. The martial artist who ambushed us this time is called Ying Jiao. If it was someone else, we could consider giving way. However, if it's this guy, I'd like to meet him. Luo Shi swung his giant axe, and a huge axe blade swept across the sky. A blood-curdling screech was heard as 3 falcons were split in half by Luo Shi's axe blade. Senior brother Luo, do you know Ying Jiao? Tang Ao asked curiously. Tang Ao had already seen that Ying Jiao was ranked 67th and had entered the top 100. Logically speaking, Ying Jiao didn't have to stop Tang Ao and the other 2. It would be fine if it was just Tang Ao and Huang Qir, but Tang Ao and Huang Qir were accompanied by Luo Shi, who was at Yin-Yang Realm Stage 3. You haven't been on the Hidden Dragon Roll for long, so you haven't been sent out on a mission. Martial artists on the Hidden Dragon Roll have to complete 10 missions assigned by the Chamber of Immortal Ruins every 1,000 years. I once went on a trial mission with Ying Jiao. That mission was to kill an evil cultivator hidden in a remote city in Langya World. Although that remote city was remote, the women in the city were all as beautiful as flowers. Ying Jiao couldn't contain his excitement and took advantage of the city lord's daughter. The city lord was furious and sent out martial artists to kill Ying Jiao. In a fit of rage, Ying Jiao massacred the entire city. Tang Ao's expression turned serious. Tang Ao had thought that the martial artists recruited by the Chamber of Immortal Ruins would have good morals, no matter how bad they were. However, Tang Ao didn't expect that there would be such a vicious person on the Hidden Dragon Roll. Not only did he not repent after doing something wrong, he even massacred the entire city because of a disagreement. Senior brother Luo, how's Ying Jiao's cultivation? Since Ying Jiao had come looking for them, there was no reason for Tang Ao and the other 2 to avoid him. From the looks of it, Ying Jiao had no intention of letting Tang Ao and the other 2 go. Ying Jiao's cultivation is about the same as mine. He's ranked outside the top 50 this time. I think he didn't go out to kill the Blood Clan and spent most of his time doing other things. However, Ying Jiao had 3 followers who were also in the top 100. Since Ying Jiao is waiting for us, I don't think he's alone. Luo 11 was a bit afraid of Ying Jiao. Among the top 20 warriors of the Hidden Dragon rank, besides the Martial Tomb and Li Chunfeng, who were extremely powerful, the rest of the warriors were not that different. If it was just Eagle 9, Luo 11 would not be afraid at all. However, Ying Jiao must have brought his 3 followers with him this time, and those 3 were not weak either. Once the 2 sides met, he wouldn't be able to defeat Ying Jiao quickly. On the other hand, Tang Ao and Huang Qir were at a disadvantage against the other 3. After pondering for a moment, Luo Shi sighed. Forget it. Let's take a detour. Luo Shi was a little impulsive when he learned that Ying Jiao was ambushing him. Now that he had calmed down, Luo Shi immediately understood that there was no value in fighting Ying Jiao now. There were 4 people on Ying Jiao's side, and they were all ranked below 50. The 3 of them had already entered the top 10, so there was no need for them to fight with Ingjiu. However, he didn't know if Ingjiu would be impatient enough to chase after him if he left now. Chapter 2587. I actually hope that he chases after us. Let's go straight to the assembly point, Tang Ao said as he thought about it. Huang Qir nodded. She did not understand the deeper meaning behind Tang Ao's words. Luo 11 nodded. He understood what Tang Ao meant. Although they had to pass through the assembly point, there was still some time before the end of the trial. Tang Ao and the other two had enough points. Hence, it was not a big deal to spend some time taking a detour. If Tang Ao and the other two continued on their way, they would fall into Ingjiu's ambush. However, if Ingjiu chased after Tang Ao and the other two, then Tang Ao and the other two could ambush Ingjiu along the way. Everyone understood this logic. However, the fact that Tang Ao could think this way at a time like this meant that he was also an experienced martialist. At east, 1,000 miles to the east, there are ruins of an ancient city. After understanding Tang Ao's meaning, Luo 11 recalled a place he had passed before. There were many ruins in the Gale Desert. When Luo 11 had been looking for Tang Ao and the other two, he had passed by one of them. After spending some time together, Luo 11 knew that Tang Ao was an array master. If Tang Ao had set up the array and waited for Ingjiu, then the situation would be very different. He could deal with Ingjiu alone, while Tang Ao and Huang Qir could use the array to deal with the three martialists following Ingjiu. On a tower thousands of miles away from Tang Ao and the other two, Ingjiu looked at the three gray feathers in his hand and sneered. Luo 11 claims to be a lone wolf. However, he is afraid of me this time, so he found two helpers. Master Jiu, did Luo 11 find two experts in the top 20 of the Hidden Dragons list? A martialist wearing black lava armor asked. Martialists cultivated spells and communicated with their life spirits. Most of them liked to wear loose and comfortable cultivator robes. It was rare to see a martialist wearing heavy armor. Even if they were wearing armor, they were only wearing half armor or thin armor. However, the person who spoke was covered in heavy armor. Not even his eyes could be seen. If an ordinary person were to wear such an outfit in the Gale Desert, even if they did not encounter any demonic beasts, they would still die from the heat. Black armor. Are you afraid? Ha. Unlike black armor, the one who spoke this time was a youth with fiery red hair. He was bare-chested, revealing his bronze-colored muscles. There was a scarlet dragon tattoo on his left arm. The Gale Desert was hot enough, but the temperature around this young man was even hotter than the Gale Desert. It was as though he was a ball of fire. Shihong, what did you say? Why would I be afraid? Even if I have to face Luo Shi, I'm not afraid. Black armor seemed to be particularly sensitive to the word fear. No matter who it was, as long as fear was mentioned in front of him, his emotions would fluctuate a lot. Be quiet. If you make any more noise, I'll chop you two up and feed you to the dogs. In the shade of the city tower sat a fair-skinned woman. She was very beautiful, and her name was pleasant to hear. She was called Silver Moon. At the moment, Silver Moon was holding a delicate knife in her hand, and she was carefully polishing her beautiful nails. All women loved to be beautiful, especially Silver Moon, who was already unbelievably beautiful. Chapter 2588. There's no point in hanging out with you three blockheads every day. Three guys who don't understand women. It's too boring. I'm leaving. Silver Moon stood up and was about to walk down the city gate tower. Wait, Ingjiu, who had been silent all this while, said. What's the matter? Silver Moon asked without turning her head. Although it was rumored that Shihong, Heijia, and Silver Moon were Ingjiu's followers, the truth was that the four of them were merely partners. Use your mystic moon mirror and see where Luo Shi is. Ingjiu's eyes were filled with killing intent. He had wanted to kill Luo Shi for a long time, but he couldn't find the opportunity. The Gale Desert trial was clearly the best time to do so. This time, he definitely wouldn't let Luo Shi leave the Gale Desert alive. Back in Guyu City, He hadn't been chased by the martial artist because he had taken advantage of a city lord's daughter, but because he had stolen a treasure from Guyu City. Ingjio had no interest in women at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so indifferent when a beauty like Silver Moon was here. 1,000 mid-grade immortal crystals, Silver Moon said lazily without turning her head. So expensive? Ingjio frowned and asked indifferently. Friendship price. It's 2,000 now. Silver Moon seemed a little impatient. Chi Hong sneered after Silver Moon said that. She thought to herself, Silver Moon must be crazy about money. She actually dared to do business with Ingjio. He Jia was shrouded in his armor, so no one could see his expression. If they could see his expression, the three of them would definitely be shocked. There was an evil smile on He Jia's face. It was as if he felt a sense of pleasure when he saw the high and mighty Ingjio being humiliated. Here are 12,000 immortal crystals. The extra 10,000 will be your fee. Ingjio didn't waste any time and threw a storage ring over. Silver Moon waved her hand, and the storage ring appeared in her hand. 10,000 doesn't seem to be enough. After glancing at the 12,000 mid-grade immortal crystals in the storage ring, Silver Moon said with a smile on her face, What if I add your life? Ingjio's figure disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, Ingjio's left hand was already gripping Silver Moon's throat. Get your filthy hands off me. Under Ingjio's iron claws, there were very few survivors. But Silver Moon didn't seem afraid at all. After Silver Moon finished speaking, Ingjio released his hand. At this moment, Silver Moon also formed a seal with both hands, and a crescent moon tattoo appeared on her forehead. Silver Moon pushed out her palm, and a mirror condensed from immortal spiritual energy appeared in front of the three of them. In the mirror, the figures of Tang Ao and the other two were extremely clear. With just a glance, Ingjio's face darkened. Luo Shi ran away. In the image, Luo Shi and Tang Ao did not continue forward. Instead, they changed directions. They would rather take a big detour than fight him. Luo Shi is currently ranked 10th. It seems like he doesn't want to fight Lord Jio, Black Armor said when he saw Luo Shi and Tang Ao heading east. He doesn't want to fight me, but I don't want to let him off. Let's go. Ingjio's powerful immortal spiritual energy shook as he chased after Tang Ao and the other two. Silver Moon put the mystic lunar mirror away and followed closely behind. Chapter 2589. After saying that, Chi Hong followed after them. However, this time, Chi Hong kept a distance from Ingjio and Silver Moon. Even if Tang Ao and the other two set up an ambush along the way, Ingjio and Silver Moon would be the unlucky ones. Black Armor and Chi Hong had never gotten along, but Black Armor chose to follow behind Chi Hong this time. As for Luo Shi, Tang Ao and Huang Qir were not a threat, but Luo Shi was very deadly. If Luo 11 also wanted to kill Ingjio, then under Luo 11's ambush, he might become the scapegoat if he wasn't careful. Ingjio naturally thought that Luo Shi might ambush him along the way. Judging from Luo Shi and Tang Ao's unhurried behavior, it was obvious that they wanted to lure him over. Since Luo Shi wanted to lure him over, he might as well see what tricks Luo Shi had up his sleeves. Senior brother Tang Ao, why aren't we moving? Huang Qir looked at Tang Ao in confusion beside the ruins. We're waiting for someone here. Tang Ao smiled and took the lead to walk into the abandoned city. There were many such abandoned and dilapidated cities in the Gale Desert. Some of these cities might have treasures left behind. Therefore, many martial artists would specifically look for treasures in these abandoned ancient cities. Let's stay here. We'll wait for Ingjio here, Luo Shi said after looking around and making sure that there was no one around. All right, Tang Ao nodded and began to set up the formation. Ingjio was not an ordinary person, and the three people following him were not ordinary martial artists either. Even though the three of them were not weak, Tang Ao would not let his guard down. Formation flags were taken out, and Tang Ao quickly set up the formation. About an hour later, Huang Qir's dragon turtle appeared again. Someone is coming. 4 of them. Tang Ao and Luo Shi were used to the dragon turtle's unpredictability. After Tang Ao threw out 3 more array flags, he collected the rest of the array flags. Tang Ao originally thought that it would take at least an hour for Ing Geo and the others to catch up, but he didn't expect that Ing Geo would only use half an hour to catch up. Screech! Just at this moment, a clear eagle cry resounded in the surroundings. Then, the image of a goshawk streaked across the sky and chased after them. Luo Shi, sneaking around isn't like you. Come out and fight me. Ing Geo stood in the air with his long hair fluttering in the wind. The aura of Yin Yang Realm Level 3 was obvious, which was no weaker than 11. Well, have I ever been sneaky? If you want to fight, I'm not afraid of you, Luo Shi said as he flew out. In the formation, Tang Ao secretly shook his head. When Luo Shi calmed down, he was meticulous and experienced. But now that they were fighting, Ing Geo had goaded him into action. The reason why the 3 of them lured Ing Geo here was to use the array formation to deal with Ing Geo. However, now that Luo Shi had rushed out of the array formation that Tang Ao had set up was obviously useless. Chapter 2590. Senior Brother Ing Geo, I've heard a lot about you. Luo Shi had just finished thinking when Tang Ao's figure appeared. Luo Shi's heart skipped a beat when he saw Tang Ao. The reason the 3 of them had come in this direction was to set up a formation to ambush Ing Geo and the other 2. Now that Tang Ao and Huang Qir had rushed out of the formation Tang Ao had set up was obviously useless. I don't know what you did to get your contribution points into the top 10. It's not easy to get this ranking, so you have to learn to cherish it. Ing Geo did not attack, but tried to persuade Tang Ao instead. Senior Brother Ing Geo, you didn't come all the way here just to tell me this, did you? Tang Ao did not answer but asked. Very well, let's do it. Ing Geo looked at Tang Ao and nodded as he said coldly. As soon as Ing Geo's voice fell, 3 figures appeared in the void. The leader was covered in thick, heavy armor. He looked extremely clumsy, but he gave off a strong sense of oppression. The other 2 were a stunning beauty and a red-haired young man. Both of them had a strong aura that gave off a threatening feeling. The 2 sides were not reminiscing about old times, but fighting to the death. Therefore, after deciding to attack, Ing Geo immediately fought Luo Shi, while Silva Moon and the other 2 surrounded Tang Ao and Huang Qir. Do you want to come one by one or all at once? Although he was surrounded by Silva Moon and the other 2, Tang Ao was not afraid. The 3 of them had strong auras, but Tang Ao and Huang Qir were not ordinary people. It's just right. There are only 2 of them. The 2 of you can take one each. I won't get involved. Silver Moon blinked her beautiful eyes and said to Chi Hong and He Jia, Stop giving me orders. As Chi Hong spoke, he had already blasted a fiery fist at Huang Qir. However, before his fiery fist could hit Huang Qir, 6 figures suddenly appeared behind her. The ice phoenix flapped its wings, and an icicle instantly collided with Chi Hong's fiery fist. After that, before Chi Hong could do anything else, 2 rays of divine light from the Ancient Era's blue spirit and the Ancient Era's green spirit descended from the sky and smashed Chi Hong's body into the yellow sand. Just now, Black Armor had thought that Chi Hong had found someone easy to deal with, but now it seemed like Chi Hong had shot himself in the foot and was asking for trouble. After glancing at Chi Hong, Black Armor moved and appeared in front of Tang Ao. Without any unnecessary words, Black Armor arrived in front of Tang Ao and smashed his fist down. Tang Ao did not retreat. Instead, he took a step forward and threw out a heart-drilling kick. Bang! A muffled sound could be heard. Tang Ao felt as though he had kicked an incomparably hard Tiangang stone instead of a human body. Black Armor was not injured at all by Tang Ao's kick. He only took half a step back. However, Tang Ao was sent flying due to the strong recoil. This guy's armor is not simple. Tang Ao thought to himself as he looked at Black Armor's armor, which had faint runes shining on it. Die! As Tang Ao was pondering, Black Armor's figure flashed and appeared before him. Although Black Armor was wearing heavy armor, his speed was not slow at all. Black Armor's immortal weapon was a giant hammer. At that moment, Black Armor's giant hammer was smashing toward Tang Ao's head as though it was going to smash Tang Ao into pieces. Chapter 2591. Tang Ao could also see through the Black Armor's cultivation base. It was only at the 6th level of astral reaching realm. Compared to Tang Ao, he was only 2 levels higher. Qi Hong, who was battling Huang Qir, had a slightly higher cultivation base at the 7th level of astral reaching realm. The white-robed woman, who had yet to make a move, made Tang Ao the most apprehensive because her body was emitting a peak 9th level astral reaching realm aura. However, she didn't seem to have any intention of making a move. She was only here to watch the show. When the Black Armor saw that his shockwave had hit Tang Ao, he was overjoyed. However, before he could rejoice for long, his expression changed. This was because the scene of Tang Ao exploding and dying due to the immortal spiritual power within his body didn't appear. At this moment, the immortal spiritual power within Tang Ao's body was indeed surging, but it was still far from exploding. Tang Ao cultivated the highest grade body refining technique, the Great Desolate Immortal Body. When cultivated to the extreme, his body was even more tyrannical than a God-King expert's. Although Tang Ao had only cultivated to the Yuan body level, the Black Armor's attack clearly couldn't injure Tang Ao. Just now, when Tang Ao and the Black Armor exchanged blows, he only wanted to probe the opponent. Now that he knew some of the Black Armor's strength and characteristics, Tang Ao also attacked with all his strength. The golden runes on his body flickered and eventually merged into his body. Immediately, a faint golden light appeared around Tang Ao's body. At this moment, Tang Ao seemed to have used the golden body. With the Great Desolate Immortal Body Yuan body and the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirits Vajra Incarnation Secret Art, Tang Ao's body was comparable to an ordinary grade 4 immortal artifact. Playing tricks, the Black Armor sneered and immediately punched out. Facing the Black Armor's punch, Tang Ao didn't have to dodge. Dang! A sound rang out, but Tang Ao didn't move an inch. The Black Armor couldn't imagine that a 4th level astral reaching martial artist could take a punch from him. One should know that his Black Armor was the Black Gold Immortal Armor. Not only was it a grade 4 immortal weapon, but it was also refined by Master Lu. But now, Tang Ao had actually used his body to take a punch from him. Bang! Before He Jia could figure out what was going on, a terrifying force assaulted him. He Jia's body trembled, and he was sent flying. A giant pillar above the ruins was smashed into pieces, and countless broken stones flew everywhere. Tang Ao was very satisfied when he saw that his full-strength punch had such power. The opponents that Tang Ao had faced before were either at the 9th level of Astral Reaching Realm or the 1st level of Yin Yang Realm. The cultivation gap between them and Tang Ao was too huge. Even if Tang Ao had more tricks up his sleeves, it would still be hard for him to compete with them. After all, in the face of absolute strength, all methods seemed useless. However, the difference in strength between Tang Ao and He Jia was not that great. In terms of cultivation base, He Jia was only at the 6th level of Astral Reaching Realm. If it were an ordinary 6th level Astral Reaching Realm, with the advantage of Tang Ao's 9 Dragons Emperor J body, Tang Ao could completely crush him. However, He Jia and Tang Ao were the same. They were both martial artists that the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce had spent a huge price to recruit. Naturally, he couldn't be compared to ordinary martial artists. Boom! In the ruins, many stones exploded. Shortly after, a black shadow rushed towards Tang Ao with a terrifying speed. That cumbersome black rock heavy armor seemed as light as a feather on He Jia's body. Before He Jia could reach Tang Ao, a frightening power had already raised a loud explosion. Tang Ao didn't dare to be careless. The hundreds of hand seals around him turned into thousands in the blink of an eye. Chapter 2592. Thousand-Hand Seal. Tang Ao roared as the thousand-hand seal blasted out from Tang Ao's hands. The thousand-hand seal was the second offensive technique that Tang Ao had deduced using the seven-kill divine path after the Finger of Extermination. As Tang Ao continued to cultivate it, it had undergone new changes. In Tang Ao's previous battles with many strong enemies, the thousand-hand seal had also performed well. But now, Tang Ao had finally discovered the shortcomings of the thousand-hand seal. Perhaps it wasn't the thousand-hand seal's shortcomings, but Tang Ao's thousand-hand seal wasn't perfect enough. Now, Tang Ao could instantly release the thousand-hand seal, but he still needed some time to condense the power of thunder to use the thousand thunderbolt hand seal. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion spread out in all directions. Tang Ao and Black Armor's cultivation wasn't very strong, but the momentum of their battle made even Ing Jiao, who was far away, frown slightly. You found a good helper. No wonder you had the guts to lure me here, Ing Jiao said after some thought. However, Luo Shi didn't care about Ing Jiao's thoughts at all. In this kind of life-and-death battle, Luo Shi became calmer, so he naturally wouldn't be affected by Ing Jiao's words. Bang, bang, bang. After clashing head-on with Tang Ao, Black Armor used his eight-legged heavy armor. The 8 legs moved at the same time, and Black Armor's attacks rained down like a torrential storm. Tang Ao didn't retreat either. Streaks of sharp fist light flashed in his hands and collided with Black Armor, producing a dull sound. Boom! Rumble! Both of their defenses and strength were terrifying, and their battle was very domineering. The surrounding city towers had been completely turned into ruins at this moment. The tall, ancient towers that had been preserved for a long time were now shattered by the terrifying, immortal spiritual power that the two of them released. Black Armor took out his giant hammer again, and the 8 giant legs behind him didn't slow down at all. A green light flashed behind Tang Ao, and the Green Lotus Sword Soul instantly appeared. As the green light flowed, Sword Chi filled the air and formed a whirlwind of Sword Chi around Tang Ao. Condense! Tang Ao shouted in a low voice, and the Sword Chi whirlwind around him disappeared instantly. A green light flashed, and the Green Lotus Sword Soul directly turned into a peerless Green Lotus Sword in Tang Ao's hand. At this moment, Tang Ao's aura suddenly changed, and the surrounding aura turned murderous. Wind and Cloud Slaughter. When Tang Ao attacked, he used the first sword of the 7-killing divine path. The originally murderous and desolate aura became even more desolate at this moment. It was as if the blood-like setting sun had descended on an ancient battlefield, bringing about endless desolation. This sword was just an ordinary sword, but when it was thrust out, it contained infinite changes. At that moment, Black Armor was momentarily dazed. It was clear that he was in the midst of this lonely sword intent. However, after Black Armor's Blackrock heavy armor flashed with runes, Black Armor quickly regained his senses. After regaining his senses, Black Armor broke out in a cold sweat. Although Black Armor had absolute confidence in the defense of his Blackrock heavy armor, in such a life-and-death battle, his life could be taken by his opponent in an instant. Black Armor could see that the sword intent of Tang Ao's sword was extremely powerful, but it wasn't very powerful. Simply put, this sword wasn't perfect. Chapter 2593. Thunder exploded in his ears, sounding like the demonic sound of death. However, Black Armor did not die in the end, because a beautiful figure appeared in front of him in a flash. Silver Moon raised her jade-like hand, and the mystic moon mirror flew out, forming a void door in the air. When Tang Ao's thunderclap giant sword edge hit the mystic lunar mirror, it was actually swallowed by the mirror. Seeing her mirror swallow Tang Ao's sword chi, Silver Moon's expression remained the same. She lifted her leg and kicked Black Armor, who was shivering slightly in the air, away. After being kicked away by Silver Moon, Black Armor was not angry at all. If it were in the past, even if Eagle 9 tried to stop him, he would still fight to the death with Silver Moon. However, at this moment, Black Armor's eyes were filled with gratitude. Before the immortal Ruin Chamber of Commerce, there were 50 people on the Hidden Dragon list and 200 on the hero list. Black Armor and the other two were martial artists on the hero list, while Tang Ao was on the Hidden Dragon list. Now, Black Armor knew why he was only on the hero list, while Tang Ao was on the Hidden Dragon list, even though he was only at the 4th level of the Astral Reaching Realm. The Tang Ao in front of him was simply a Sword Dao genius. In the true martial realm, there were definitely many martial artists who used swords. There were also many martial artists who had some achievements in Sword Dao. Relying on his Black Rock Heavy Armor's power, Black Armor had challenged countless Sword Dao martial artists. However, Black Armor had never met a martial artist who could cultivate Sword Dao to the level of Tang Ao. When he was trapped in Tang Ao's Green Lotus Sword Array, Black Armor felt as if he had entered a space completely made of sword chi. Even though his Black Rock Heavy Armor's defense was astonishing, he still felt powerless in that sword chi space. Tang Ao's sword chi was all-pervasive and unstoppable. Even though he had the Black Rock Heavy Armor to protect him, he was still injured by Tang Ao. Swish! A golden mysterious sky arrow flew through the air. Black Armor, who had just escaped from death, turned pale again. A golden arrow kept enlarging in Black Armor's eyes. This arrow seemed to want to devour his life. Tang Ao understood that this was a disadvantageous situation of 4 against 3. Now that he had seized the opportunity, he naturally had to get rid of one of them first. Kacha! Kacha! A series of cracking sounds rang out at the same time. It turned out that Black Armor had used the last of his strength to activate the Black Lava Heavy Armor. At this moment, the Black Lava Heavy Armor had become a black iron ball. Black Armor curled up into a ball inside the Black Lava Heavy Armor. However, Tang Ao had to admit that the defense of the Black Lava Heavy Armor was indeed quite domineering.